edition of Paleocrat Diaries is gonna blow your mind.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I should overcome. What for? Train under trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no challenge for champions and chain no fear. Yeah, the champions here.
What an amazing day. What an amazing day it is to be alive. Super grateful for each and every one of you. I'm Jeremiah Bannister, your host here at Paleocrat Diaries. Every weekday we're cranking it out, okay? We are giving it our best and our all. Every weekday. It's a great way to start. It's a great way to start your day. And I have had an amazing day. It's been kind of tough, not going to lie. It's been kind of tough because I'm waking up now at like 5:30 in the morning. I'm waking up at 5:30. Although the last couple days I've had really great conversations with people right out of the gate. Okay, so a bunch of fun, getting on the phone, talking to people, collaborating, coordinating, all of this. And the conversation I had today, I won't say with who, but it was awesome. It was totally awesome. And it was one of those things, took me off guard. First time I talked to the individual. And it's one of those conversations that you have. It's really rare in your life, you know, that you have. And you think to yourself for a moment, am I talking to an angel a little bit, right? Are angels involved in this, okay? Because the topic matter, right, was so raw and so real and so challenging on so many levels. I got to give God the praise for it. You got to give God the praise for it. And so it was an awesome way to start the day, but I've been a little bit tired because I'm not used to waking up so early, to be honest. I'm not used to it. Which when you don't wake up early, you typically don't go to bed early, right? So I've been a night owl for I don't even know how long, a long time. So I'd stay up really late. Well, my body hasn't figured that out yet. And so my brain is still reeling at night. And I even try to calm it down. I've enjoyed the last couple nights since we've been doing the 5:30 in the morning thing. Been winding down a little bit earlier, actually having some downtime, okay, relaxing, getting to do things I don't typically get to do in the evening. But my brain is still reeling. And so it's tough, but I believe that I will grow accustomed to this. And so, but no matter what, it affords me a lot of time and I feel so much more productive. So speaking of being productive, okay, we are going to go right now. Let's see. In fact, why don't I just go over here? To the news, okay? To the news. Before we even move forward at all. Actually, you know what? I was going to do that, but I have a better idea. Check this out. You guys won't even believe this, okay? So yesterday, well, I'll keep up this screen. Why not? Because I gotta do this here. Check this out. The new Wolfpack store. The new Wolfpack store. I told you I would do this, and you know what? I gotta give credit where it's due. Ailey here at the show, she is the queen of the staff here. She also happens to be my mega hot half Korean wife. I'm totally hooked up, way out of my league on this one. She put together the graphics for this, and I told everybody, I said, look, I'm going to post it over here at the website. It's going to have links and descriptions of each of these. But here's the thing. We now have a brand new Paleocrat Diaries coffee mugs. I mentioned them yesterday. I showed a little bit about them. But on here, I talk about, that 100% of the proceeds are currently going toward our children's continued education at Sacred Heart Academy in Grand Rapids. And to learn more about the school, I put a powerful video up there, as well as of our family and how we even found ourselves at Sacred Heart. Like, how did we get there? What was going on with that? But check it out. I got it on here. And I found out something I didn't know. I didn't know yesterday that, because we go through Zazzle. Okay, so they've got standard prices and stuff like that. They've got, based on how much you want to earn out of each item that you sell and all this. And so there's a lot of price setting with that. However, what I didn't know was that it comes in 3 different sizes. Okay, so for those of you who, I don't know, like me, are total freaks when it comes to coffee in the morning, we've got the 20-ounce jumbo mug, okay? We've got a 20-ounce jumbo mug. We have a 6-ounce espresso cup for, the people that do this number, right? The people that drink really fancy and stuff like that. We've got that, as well as the 10-ounce bone china cup. And all of these things, right? All of these things are 15% off. Now, my wife, she shared with me, maybe she can put it in the comments, we can read that. But there's a 15% off discount code. In fact, it's in red. If you go and you click on any of these pictures, it will take you to the website itself. So we've got our Straight to the Dome mug. Currently, it's got the original logo for the show on there. We're going to have the new updated one, the one where I'm like screaming into the mic. I think it looks pretty dope if you ask me. I like that picture, if I can say so myself. We're going to have that as an option. So you can either have the original logo, the Broken Heart logo, or you can have the newer one, right? The Intensity one, the Fire one, Man on Fire one. But it got, right here. So you've got your espresso mug, and each one, it's off of the price. So the jumbo is the one that they've got it set to. But if you'd rather have something more artistic, and I didn't even catch this yesterday, I was looking at it, and I thought, for one, this is really cool. Okay, I love the design of the mug. I love the colors. I love all of it. My son Ambrose is the one that put this together. But I noticed something yesterday, and it kind of bummed me out, and that was that there are only 5 people. Okay, we're a family of 6. Okay, we're a family of 6. And so I'm like, what's going on there, bud? And 7, if you include the one in heaven, okay? Samantha Lee, rest in peace. I love you and think of you every day. But the family that's here right now, okay, in the flesh, the family that's here now, we have 6 people. But there were only 5. And I thought, man, what's going on with that? And then I realized, oh, no. In the middle, you've got the wolves, right? The wolf pack. But right there in the middle, that little yellow one, that is Wolfgang. And he's wearing his bear costume, I think. Or I think it's a bear costume that he's got. And he's wearing that. I think Mel Rice, she's one of the paleo radio divas from back when it was on AM/FM. And I believe, anyway, that she's the one that purchased it for us. And so it was awesome. And I'm like, well, there he is. You can see his little face. So it's got all 6 of us. It's got a little Wolfie in the middle. And I'm super pumped about that. And, of course, you can get it in the same... You can get it in the exact same sizes and everything else. I thought I had the description here. Oh, I do. I do have the description here. I have it right over, let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and put it right there. Okay. So, yeah. So right here, it says the dimensions just for the jumbo one, right? Height 4.5 inches, diameter 3.9, capacity 20 ounces, microwave and dishwasher safe, strong ceramic construction, meets FDA requirements for food and beverage safety, and it's printed on demand in Reno, Nevada. So it's super awesome. It has all the details. You can find those on the website, and you can do that. I believe if the Zazzle page, I think if you just look up Paleocrat Diaries on Zazzle, it's right there. We'll have that link connected to the website. Or to make it even easier, just go to paleocratdiaries.com, and if you go there, the most recent update talks about the mugs, and if you click on them, I think I can do it maybe right. Oh, yeah, I don't have it up. So if you click on the images, it'll take you right there. It'll take you right there. So, okay, here we go. Gonna get that off of there for now. Gonna get that off there. Okay. So, all right, before we move forward, we got a big show for you. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about, and of course, the fun stuff. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna laugh. We're gonna have a blast. It's one of the things about the show that we, in fact, is an essential dynamic in the show, is that we laugh. If we didn't do that, I probably would not be doing this. I'd say, no. I had somebody recently, bless his heart, I love him, right? He's a major player in my life, really, really great guy. And he proposed the idea of doing kind of a more newsy show. Maybe early on, it's kind of more suit and tie style thing, more serious, do, and now the news kind of thing. And I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think I could do that, brother, man. I don't think I could do that. And I could, but I wouldn't feel right about it. You know what I mean? But today we're going to be talking not only the funny stuff, we're going to get into the serious stuff to do with what's going on in D.C., stuff to do with what's going on with the election in Georgia, which, by the way, just so that people know, if you've been following the show long enough, you realize that if you had to bet, if you were a betting person and someone said, do you think Jeremiah was watching that last night and biting his nails and wondering what was going on? You'd be like, no. No, in fact, he probably knew what was coming. And lo and behold, I did. And so it's just the way that the cookies are crumbling right now. It's just the way it is. And it's not entirely, I refuse to bow to the in-house pressure that says that this is just the Democrats' fault. Yes, they are scumbags. Yes, they are complete thiefsters. Totally, without a doubt. We've talked about it long enough on this show till we're blue in the face. But there's a lot that was on the blood on the hands of the Republicans, the blood on the hands even of the candidates. Right? You go back, and it's not the most inspiring thing in the world. So it's not necessarily surprising. I understand the idea that we need to get out there. We need to get out there. We need to go and we need to promote it like crazy. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. In part because I don't believe there's necessarily a democratic solution. This is not going to be resolved, the problems in our country, by an election. Those are important. They're necessary. They're valuable, especially because it's the nature of where we are. But at the same time, I ain't going to play that game. I'm not going to play that game. I know too many people that just get locked in it, and they're like panic mode all the time. Oh my gosh, I'm watching every single update. It says only 2% of the votes came in, but look at the spread. Stop it. Just stop. Okay? Stop it. So here's the thing, just to let everybody know, in the comments section, we're on like 20, what is today? 21. We are on 21 different channels right now, all across the web. We are on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Periscope, and DLive. And after the show, the videos are uploaded at Rumble, and there is one other place. I don't remember offhand. I don't remember what that place is. I'm not the one that uploads all those. I'm not the one that uploads them. But no matter where you are, no matter where you're tuned in, if you comment, I see it. Okay, so you comment here, I see it. Shannon Hawkins says, hey, what's going on? I know who you are. I know who you are, Shannon. And hey to you. I hope you're doing really well. We talked about, had people pray for you, in fact. And so really excited about that. Will DeMont says, proud of your boy. Proud of your boy, son. Proud of your boy. Representing, dude. Representing. And you're at the Capitol. You're at the Capitol, homie. I'm glad to hear that, man. I'm glad, people got to do it. Right? It's kind of one of those things, where just because, I'm not biting my nails over everything and I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket because I'm not putting all my trust in chariots and horsemen, doesn't mean that I don't believe that chariots and horsemen are important. It's a both and, but you got to prioritize it. So I'm really grateful, man. You're at the Capitol. I got to say, man, I didn't get any invite. I didn't even know who was organizing it until like about a day and a half ago. I knew nothing of what was going on. And we helped organize the Christmas event and everything. And I've spoken at I've spoken at 3 rallies since the election. So since the election, I've spoken 3 times at the Capitol. I've helped organize one of them, and I was completely in the dark. I didn't even know what to tell other people. I had not even shared or tagged on Facebook. And I'm like, goodness gracious. Am I blacklisted? What's going on? And I just spilled water all over myself, man. Wow, that's really great. That's really great, man. At least I'm not walking around. You know what I mean? Have you ever done that? Have you ever spilled on yourself and then had to walk around and everybody's looking at you going, I think you peed yourself. And you're like, no, I promise. I spilled a little water. Got that Fiji going, kids. Got that Fiji going. That was a gift, by the way. That was a gift from Wonder Woman, the real American hero. Right? She is an American hero and a Michigan patriot, and sent a whole box. In fact, sent a whole box of that stuff. But anyway, I had no idea. I had no idea what was going on. So I'm really glad that you're there. I don't know really many people who are speaking. I heard of a couple of them. And somebody sent me something saying it was more like a prayer event or something. I don't know, man. Let me know, man. And you know what? Tag me on social media. If you're there or if you're in Washington, D.C., make sure to tag me in any of the pictures and stuff like that, any live videos, man. Let me know what's going on. You can do that over at jeremiah.bannister on Facebook, and at Parler, and on Twitter, I am Paleocrat. Now, there's also a Paleocrat page. I don't do a lot of that on Facebook, but you can catch up with me there. All right, Bethany says on Facebook, Good morning, Jeremiah. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning, Wolfpack. Ow! Super pumped for the Wolfpack. Happy Wednesday. Let's do this. Wolf, mega buff right arm, prayer hands. That's a new one. Look at that. Prayer hands. That is awesome. I am very grateful. Normally it's the American flag. But I'm glad that you put the prayer hands in there today. And then, of course, the two hearts. Very grateful for that. Hayden's holding out for a t-shirt. She really wants, okay. I got to say this, all right? So there's going to be a bunch of different products at the site, okay, on the store for Paleocrat Diaries. Right now, all it is are coffee cups, right? It's because we start out each day howling at the sun, straight to the dome, guzzling a bunch of coffee. That's what we do. It's what I do, you know. And so we started out with that so that you can join in that endeavor. But there's a lot more coming. And I'm hoping that we'll be able, if I get my way, and I try, I push hard on it. So if I get my way with my store on my site, if this happens, we're not only going to have Paleocrat Diary stuff, we're going to have Team Tiny Dancer stuff. Okay, that's the story of my daughter, her life and death with childhood brain cancer and how that led our family back to the faith. And wonderful pictures, including the one that was used for Make-A-Wish Michigan, that has Never Give Up, Keep on Smiling, and she's got the bunny ears. It's super adorable and cute, as well as the family picture that was taken in the chapel at the Children's Hospital the night before her 17-hour brain surgery. So those things are going to be there, but not just on cups. I'm hoping to have shirts, sweatshirts. There are like duffel bags, canvas bags, purses for the ladies, because lots of ladies are tuning in. Lots of ladies are tuning in. And it's not only the purses that we're thinking about the ladies. We're going to have baseball caps. I'm hoping baseball caps. There's also bibs for the babies, because we believe in making babies here. We believe in making babies. You got to pump them out. You got to do the business. You got to do the work, because we're thinking ahead, right? We are thinking forward in our lives. We're 1 foot in the past, 1 foot in the present, 1 foot in the future, making lots of babies. so we're going to have, hopefully, a bib, okay? So we're going to have a whole bunch of stuff. And even, I don't know if I said this, playing cards. There's playing cards. And I don't know if it's only one image on all the playing cards. I don't know if I'd like that. If we're able to have the different faces for the king and queen and jack and stuff, if we're able to do that, that would be even better. But we'll see. But we're gonna get shirts. In fact, Angela's working on that right now, and we are investing in something with the Christmas money. We're investing in something that's going to make it a lot easier for her to do a lot more artistic things, particularly to do with making images that are going to be on the products at our store. So here we go. Yeah, so you can order those. And the link is right there. Angela Bannister, put it in there, Zazzle.com. Let me go ahead, let's see if I can go ahead and, I'm going to go ahead and, let's see here, hold on. I'm going to copy this bugger. I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to paste it. And that should go to all of the different, comment sections on all of the platforms. And so you should be able to do that. All right. Okay, here. Let's see here. No, brother, we would never blacklist you. Will says he would never blacklist me. I know that, Will. I know that, brother man. You're good. You are good. Disciple of Jesus says, Right Side Broadcast Network. But you made a mistake, though. You made a mistake. You put RSBN Network. That's kind of like saying ATM machine. Don't do that, by the way. You went to an ATM, okay? So RSB Network. Dude, I'm with you. Yeah, watch it. I agree. You telling me to watch it right now? I'm live on a show. I'm telling people, hey, everybody, right now, leave my show and go watch that. No, don't think about that. Don't do that. Watch the show, like it, share it. Tell all your friends and family, even those frenemies, right? The ones that you're friends with, but you're kind of annoyed by the stuff that they post. If you think that they would be a little bit like not necessarily the happiest in the world, but also intrigued by this show, share it with them. Say, I was thinking about you. This show makes me think of you. And so share it with all of them. And then after the show, go check out Right Side Broadcast Network. You got to do it. All right. Trump is live. Okay. Well, Trump is live. Is Trump at the rally? Is Trump at the rally here? Just asked about me. Josh Beardew just asked about you. We're standing here watching your stream. Dude, yes, brother. Josh Beardew. Yeah, man. Very, very cool. Excited about that. And look, keep me up to date with what's going on. You can do that in the comment section. Anything that's keeping people up to date with what's going on. Because they may be at work. A lot of people are tuned in. They put in the headphones. Bada boom, bada bing. They're watching and having a good time and everything else. But we want to keep them up to date. We want to make sure that they are constantly aware of what is going on. The newest of the new news. We got to do it. And so I rely upon you, in fact. I rely upon you. And especially you, Will and Josh, brothers, you got to keep me up to date. Very, very grateful both of you are tuned in, man. All right, James says the proletariat cannot afford Fiji water. Look, I didn't buy any Fiji water, brother. I didn't buy any Fiji water. It was a gift, man. It was a gift. And so, dude, it is kind of expensive. Dude. It's kind of fancy. It's like one of those things you got to hold your pinky up. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things. You just got to do it, man. I feel like I'm on the lifestyles of the rich and famous when I drink that. You know, like Robin Leach is talking in the background. Feel kind of cool. Like I got to wear a white tuxedo, you know? Although spilling it in a white tuxedo like I just did, that would be particularly unflattering. Well, it depends. But I would not want to do that. Let's put it that way. I would not want to do that. Sheree says, I'm on my way to a funeral, so I'll have to sign off. We pray, of course, for the repose of the dead. And so I'm really sorry to hear that. I don't know much more about that, but, everybody keep Cherie and her family in prayers. Yeah. Let's see. Lurk Gertz, when a man loves a woman. Dude, we talked about that. We showed that stupid clip, man, of that Democrat, and he's like, amen, and a woman. And you're like, what a stupid idiot, dude. What a weirdo, dude. I mean, what's going on? You sit there and you're like, okay, look, some people are stupid. I get that. It takes all kinds, right? God made all sorts of people. Some people have greater mental strength than others. Some people, it's amazing, in fact. I think it's to the glory of God. The people who are really dumb are somehow able to continue surviving and everything. I think it's a testament to the power of God's design. At the same time, it gets really bad when people who are really, really dumb have a lot of power and stand up in a microphone in one of the biggest venues in the world and announces to everybody, hello, I'm stupid. That's crazy. Why would you do that? And who wrote that crap? What kind of weirdo wrote that and said, hey, I think what would be great is at the end when you pray to the monotheistic God, right? The Cthulhu up in the sky. When you pray to that thing, and at the very end of all of that, it's the unnamed G God, right? So we know the guy's a Freemason. We know the guy is at least bought in to the Freemasonic big G in the sky. So, you got to sit there and say, who wrote that crap, though, that at the very end, that he would go, amen, and a woman. Fire that person, stat! Fire him! Get him out of here! You can't deal with stupid men like that. It's contagious. It's infectious, man. It's infectious. Let's see here. Yeah, no, just the amen, but the woman and the children. Oh, Luke. Oh, come on, man. You're trolling me now. It takes her to make a hero. Oh, man. And it takes he to make her. Oh, dang, son. Oh, dang. Those are truth bombs, bro. Those are truth moms. Oh, truth moms. Yeah, those are truth moms. We're dropping truth moms, dude. We're dropping truth moms out of the chopper. They're just coming down, dude, just exploding everything, man. And they're mom jeans. They're mom jeans of truth. Oh, man. Look at this. It says, instead of a menu, it should be a woman you. Okay, I'm done with you, bro. I'm done. No more of this. We are out. We are out. Okay, no more. Last one before we move on. Marion says on Facebook, Jesus is the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings. Brothers and sisters stand together. You are totally right. You are totally right. Let's see here. All right. So oh no, I got to get back to that. I am so sorry. So here's the thing. Okay, we got to get to these amazing stories is what we've got to do. So right out of the gate, I saw this. This is me, right? I saw this and said, oh boy, we gotta deal with this thing. We got to deal with this. There's a lot of Looney Tune stuff happening with this particular story. So we're going to break it down for you. You can eat your Christmas tree. Did you ever think of that, by the way? Did you ever, like, look at your Christmas tree and you're thinking, like, I've already admitted to you guys, I'm one of those, I could probably keep it up all year. I've tried to, negotiate with my wife about having a Mardi Gras tree. She's not down with that. A Mardi Gras tree, you just take it all, everything that's not golden, right? So if you have ornaments that are colored as gold or whatever, or real gold, maybe you're that fancy pant guy or girl. So if you have those, you can keep those up, and you take off all the other colors except for purple. So it's purple and gold, and it's a Mardi Gras tree, and I think you take it down on February 2nd or something like that. And you can keep lights on and stuff. And I thought, man, that sounds exactly like what I think, we should do in this house. And my wife, she wanted nothing to do with that. She wants it down. She wants it put away. She can't, she enjoys it, but not like me. Not like me. I'm a fanatic for it. But as much as I've been a fanatic for Christmas trees, I have never been the kind of cuckoo bird to look at the Christmas tree and think, how can I eat that? Like, I've never done that. Have you? Have you done that? I mean, I don't know how I feel about this. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, it looks okay. But it just, I don't know, something about it, man. It doesn't seem right. But it says right here, this is over at SmithsonianMag.com, Lindsay Campbell. So you know that it's already in the realm of the group of scientific folks that are trying to get us to all, eat bugs and stuff like that. They're all soy people. We need to get away from eating meat because the apocalyptic environmental scenario, and that's what they believe in and stuff. So we already know. We can anticipate this. Oh, the modern farmer. The modern farmer doing soy face constantly, right? The tranny farmer? What is the modern farmer? Anyway, for most people who celebrate Christmas, it would be hard to imagine the holiday without the iconic centerpiece of a decked-out evergreen. Each year, an estimated 25 to 30 million Christmas trees are sold in the United States. But if you are increasingly worried, and I knew it was coming, man. I knew it, guys. You can trust me on this. But if you're increasingly worried about the carbon footprint of buying a real tree, there are ways you can recycle it once the holidays have passed. It can be used for mulch or even turned into something edible. Now, I'm not going to dog that, the idea of turning it into mulch. The edible part, I don't know if I buy this, guys. I just don't know if I buy this. And tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. If any of you eaten Christmas trees and you're like, oh, Jeremiah, you don't understand. It is delicious, dude. Eat your Christmas tree. Put it out on the barbie, right? Make some shish kebabs with it. In October, UK-based artisan baker and cook Julia Jorgalis published a compilation of more than 30 recipes in a new cookbook, How to Eat Your Christmas Tree, to show readers how to give their tree new life after December 25th. And she doesn't even understand when you should take it down. She doesn't even understand that. Yeah. Oh, there was more to this. I had a bunch of stuff. Oh, no, it's not highlighted now. So, okay, here's the thing. They were asked, oh, there it is. Oh, no, that's not it. So, okay, here's the deal. She was asked a whole bunch of questions. Why did you come up with this? What was going on with this? And she says this. In this book, here's the question. In this book, you talk about how you want it to open up a broader conversation around sustainability. How'd you try to do that? Maybe by proposing the idea that you eat your freaking Christmas tree. That's a broader conversation. And whenever you hear this kind of this language, right, this series of words, opening up a broader conversation, that's like those videos, and I hate it, man. I hate it. I've seen churches do it too. It's not just HuffPo and Salon and all that, but don't publish things that are like, it's time we talk about racism, or it's time we talk about white privilege, or we need to talk about gender. And it's like always this idea that they come in and it's this kind of demeaning thing where they're looking at you, right? Looking down the end of their nose and they're like, we need to talk about your white privilege, okay? And you're like, oh, wow, you're that person. Oh, and it's just a broader conversation. That sounds exactly. In fact, isn't that the exact kind of code that was used by homeboy CEO over at Twitter, Jack Dorsey, when he was like asked about why do you put the thing at the bottom of tweets that say this has been fact checked and stuff like that, or this is a disputed tweet or whatever. And he's like, we're just trying to open up a broader conversation. It's never a broader conversation. It is demeaning. It is looking down the nose at somebody in a way that is telling them, we don't like what you're doing. We have ideas, and it's time that you feel super guilty about it. And that's just true. It's just true. And so they're like, she says, eating Christmas trees isn't going to save the planet. I'm glad she's admitted that. Can you imagine if that's how she started? It will save the planet. And it's like, no, it won't. But this book draws on the idea that you just need to start thinking about how you might want to reuse and recycle and reappropriate everything. And that includes your Christmas tree. Now, look, I don't want to mock that necessarily either. I'm okay with the idea of reuse, recycle, and reappropriate. I'm okay with that. I'm a guy that tethered to the land. I'm severely divided over the fact that I live in a city. I prefer the land. I was talking to a friend about this, and I said I miss the countryside. I totally miss it. And so, I kind of sit there and I said, man, I love the trees. I love the skies that you can actually see the stars. I love driving down the road and not seeing a whole bunch of, trails up in the sky over you like a tic-tac-toe grid. Something like Jefferson's grid model for roads, where it's got all of these, intersecting lines over you, and you're like, it's a net of trails. I'd like to not have that. I'd like to be able to go outside and have a fire and not have my neighbor be like, oh my gosh, you're going to burn the neighborhood down. Play some music and not be afraid that my neighbor 2 miles away from me is going to complain of the noise pollution. And again, to see the stars, to hear the frogs and everything else. So look, I get it. I'm also one that says we need to get back to the idea of being more or self-sufficient or smaller level of farming, things like that, gardening and things like that. They give not just more, it's more organic, okay? It's not so infused with the crazy chemicals, with the crazy chemicals. Yeah, all the chemicals in the food. You guys know, man, those chemicals are bad. Very bad chemicals. But you know what I'm saying, though, okay? Getting back to the earth, getting your hands dirty. And so I'm not always the best at it, but I believe in it. So I'm not going to dog her on that and making sustainable changes. Look, as long as it's not a cult, I get it. But the idea of like, well, okay, one of those ways, look, it's creative, I guess, okay? And it says, when you were doing the research for the book, what stuck out to you when it came to the environmental footprint of Christmas trees? She's like, well, it's actually quite large. If we let 40 million trees grow each year, instead of cutting them down at Christmas and sticking them into our living rooms, they could absorb 880 million. So, okay, she's probably a shill for the fake tree lobby. That's what it is, guys. She's a shill. She's like, look, I know I'm proposing the idea that you eat them, but if I had my way, I'd say just let them grow. Do not cut them down. Do not grow them to be cut down. We just need to let it grow. Because if we don't do that, then we are going to have a lot of problems. And why? She said it's the equivalent to global air traffic in 1 year. Oh, you know what this is. She's trying to do this whole apples and apples comparison, denying the idea that it's apples and oranges, to say that she knows that all of the rich and heinous across the globe, they're all trotting all over the place in their fancy private planes, all the while talking about how we should never do that. And she's like, oh, don't get on your pedestal, mister. Right? Sally Sue and Johnny Q. Don't do that. Why? Because you have a Christmas tree. What? Yes, you have a Christmas tree. You're just as bad. You're just as bad. Don't you dare talk about Leonardo DiCaprio. Don't you dare talk about Greta and Al Gore. Don't you dare. Because you have a Christmas tree. And you're not even eating it. Lastly, the idea, apparently she says fur is really zesty and really grassy. I've never thought about zesty grass. Have you guys, you put those two things together and you're like, well, man, what do you think about this? You know, you got it on a platter and you're like, well, what's that? And you're like, this is some zesty grass. And you're like, you can shove that up your, you know, I don't need no zesty grass. What are you talking about? I don't want to eat no zesty grass. What the heck is up with that, man? And she said, I've used it in things like pickles and things that need a sharper taste. Oh, okay. Play on words a little bit. Things that need a sharper taste. Why don't you just, you know, get to the point? Spruce is really surprising. Is it really? Is spruce actually surprising? She said it's not as grassy, it's more orangey. Is that the way that real chefs talk? Is it? Have you heard that? They're like, orangey. Maybe. The spruce in the ice cream. What? I actually make gives it a vanilla taste. Does it really? Now, I would try spruce ice cream. I would try that. I don't know about that whole, you know, pickle thing with furs and all that. I don't know about that. But the blue spruce ice cream I make is actually my favorite recipe. Yeah, and it's got earlier vanilla extracts, like artificial flavorings. Had notes of, you know, spruce in them. Oh, fascinating. So tell me, guys, in the comments, tell me, does this convince you? Do you feel now compelled that, are you going to talk to your husband? You're going to talk to your wife? You're taking down the tree today. It's Epiphany. You're taking it down. Are you going to look at them and say, sweetheart, I think maybe we should put it in the deep cooker. I'm going to go cut it up. We're going to put it in the deep cooker, on the barbecue or whatever, in the oven. We're going to cook it and we're going to eat it. This lady made some really compelling arguments. Did it convince you? If so, let me know. Let me know. Idaho man. I don't even have to go further than this. Idaho man. I already know what this is, dude. He completes 1,507 juggling catches in 3 minutes for a world record. And they always start every time. They say, in Idaho man, it's David Rush. The whole world knows about David Rush now. Okay? The whole world knows about it. How many? Oh, he's broken more than 150 Guinness World Records to promote STEM education. No, it is to promote himself. He's a raging narcissist. Look at him. Just look at his face. Look at this guy's face. Can you tell? Raging narcissist. Dude, it's bad. World's fastest juggling. If he wasn't, they're like, oh no, it's a selfless thing. He's just trying to raise awareness for STEM education. And you're like, no, he's not. That's not why you bounce ping pong balls from your mouth against the wall. That's not why you do that. With the camera and people on you with music. And do you think when he's all excited, yeah, at the end of that, dude, I did like 60, best record, wah! And he does that, you think he's actually thinking about little Janie and little Johnny getting into STEM education? No, he's thinking of a limousine. He's thinking of, you know, extremely hoity-toity hotels. Money Down says it. Money Down, it's obvious, dude. Just, again, look at him. Look at him. You are a narcissist, man. You are a selfish guy, dude. You don't care about the kids. You don't even care one bit, dude. You only care about your stinking self and your 150 Guinness Book records. And what is a Guinness Book record anymore? I think we need to put together a campaign that basically puts his dominance of the Guinness Book, puts it to an end. We need to find out how, you know, this might be hard, okay? That might be kind of tough. 52 records in 52 weeks? Oh, he recaptured the record for the most juggling catches in 3 minutes with 3 balls. Okay, we're going to have to find out all of the different things this guy has done, and we need to crush him. We need to totally crush this guy. What the heck is this? We need to crush David Rush, dude. We need to crush him. And I need to have him on the show. I need to invite him on the show. The staff right now, you guys need to figure out, how do I get a hold of David Rush? We need him on the show. I'm going to challenge him to his face. I'm going to say, dude, we have raked you over the coals, brother. You're not getting away with this, dude. You're not getting away with this. All right. Dad wakes up in the bath, overflowing with bubbles after falling asleep in the tub. How much do you want to bet that this is not real? How much do you want to bet? I'd like to bet a lot on this, actually. Let me see here. One daughter was left in stitches. Really, Rosaline Fenton? Exclusives reporter at mirror.co.uk? Really? Left in stitches? Are you serious? Is that true? After her dad accidentally fell asleep in the bath. I have a feeling, Mirror, that you are fake news. Rosaline, you're lying. There's no way. She shared the unfortunate footage on TikTok where it racked up millions of views. Yeah, that's what it's about. You think that that's just accidental? Rarely ever. Especially not on, I don't know, TikTok. This chick is TikToking it up. It's exactly what's going on here. We all know that it's a big scam. All you got to do is say, lady plus TikTok equals scam. That's what it means. I'm sorry, ladies. You know it's true. You know it's true. Come on now. Don't be rude about this. Don't be denying. But Rosaline Fenton, she shows the video. Let's go and see. Oh, let's see this really authentic and completely not rigged situation here. Let's go ahead and see that. For some reason, man, that green is showing up in my headphones. What's up with that green screen? Might need to work on that. All right, here we go.
Okay? Are you alright?
Did you see him? Dude, oh yeah. He's just, are you okay? Are you alright? Dude, if your dad is sleeping under a bunch of bubbles in a bathtub, if that's actually happening, number one, what kind of sicko are you to go in there? That's the first thing, girl. You got some weird daddy thing happening. But why would, number one, why would you go in there? Number two, why did you go in there with your camera on? Why'd you go in there with your camera on? What are you trying to discover? What are you trying to do to your dad? There's no leaving in stitches with this nonsense. There's no leaving in stitches. And hold on a second. I'm going to see if I can change this filter up here. I'm going to see if I can change that filter. Can I do that? Can I do that? Oh, no. Here we go. There we go. Close. That should be better. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. But why would they do that? Dad wakes up in suds-filled bathroom after accidentally falling asleep. No, he didn't. No. Let's see.
I fell asleep.
No, you didn't, you liar. No, you didn't, you liar. You're a bad example, man. You are a bad example. You're the kind of guy that's like, hey, look, I think it's kind of cool that my daughter likes to, peddle herself out, lying day in and day out on TikTok. Now, maybe they said we rigged this. Maybe it's entirely Rosaline's fault, but this is glaringly obvious, is it not? Is this not glaringly obvious?
You could have died.
You're gonna die.
You could have died. Seriously.
There's more than one. There's more than one daughter, so now two daughters are in on it. And the dad, dude, number one, you know what kind of bubble stuff would have to be going on to even create that scenario? Do you even know?
Are you okay?
I was breathing in bubbles and shit.
Okay, look at your fucking...
Wow, they're dropping F-bombs. Look at your effing self. Wow, sorry about that, guys. This guy's got a potty mouth, and apparently his daughters are like, full-blown sailors. Holy crap. Yeah, but it's fake, dude. It's fake. Yeah, look at that. The dad's not even a good actor. And this is what makes me mad. This is actually what makes me mad, is that you get people like that are like, they're going to TikTok it up every day. They probably had a family meeting about it. They choreograph all their stuff, and they're like, okay, what are we going to do today that's really stunning? And he's like, well, how about I go in a bathtub and then you come in? And they're not thinking any of it through. And they're terrible actors and actresses. So it's not even convincing. There's no suspended disbelief with this. And they pop in, oh my gosh, what's going on? Blarkety blark. And everybody's like, ah! And all the monkeys over on TikTok are like, ah, dude, it left me in stitches. I was just cracking up. Did you see? Did you see? No, I did not. Why? Because TikTok is some Chinese crap, right? Getting all your information, a bunch of propaganda, and a place where people whore themselves out for, likes. I don't think so. I want nothing to do with that. I want nothing to do with that. I loathe the fact that I even talk about it. I loathe it. Coupled with do-it-yourself experience, transform rundown 3-bed with just 6,000 pounds. Oh, and look at this. My wife is coming down. Look at that. I love how she comes out of nowhere. She's like extra dimensional. Here we go. There we go. Yeah, so Ailey came on down like that, filling up this coffee.
I don't know how hot it is. It's fresh.
Really? Oh, no.
Don't do that again.
I'm not going to do that again. Yesterday, if you didn't see yesterday, she told me it was hot, and I sat there and I drank the coffee, and I knew she was walking around. I was like, ah! And I acted like I was burned, and she's like, oh, no, and turned around. It was mean, but it was also hilarious. It was all, and I liked you. By the way, yesterday's show was awesome, I think. There was a couple mistakes, but it was an awesome show. It was an awesome show. So right here, okay, so 6,000 pounds, and they're able to transform this house. So what does it look like? Okay, this is the couple. Okay, there's a lot going on here with that. Okay, it's so petty. Here's the house. Okay, so that's a nice looking area. It looks like it'd be pretty dope. I like the ground out there with the brick and everything. It looks really sharp. And here, okay, so here's the house. Well, you can tell that this house has all the mix-ins for something great, though, right? Can't you? Wood flooring, look at the fireplace and everything, the height of the ceiling, the shape of the windows. So it looks like it's going to be great. But it also looks, pretty darn hit. Well, what did they end up doing with it? Okay, well, all right. So they put some of that stuff there. Okay, I see. Oh, dang, really? Whoa. Wow. Okay, I like that color, too. I'm not going to lie. I like that color. I don't know how I feel, though, about that color blue, that bluish green with the blue chair over there. I don't know how I feel about that, the color combination and everything. But you know what I mean. Come on, guys. You know what I mean. It's totally true. That color combination. But, dude, look at the fireplace, man. Look at the fireplace. I love those right there. Those, what would they be called? What would those be called? The footstools, right? What is that? It's massive. That's not just a footstool, right? There's a specific term for that. Okay, so here's what they did. What is? Oh, dang. Okay. Woo. Okay, so these people did a lot, man, for 6,000. Now, 6,000 pounds. That's not a joke, though. I mean, what would that be? Like $8,000? Okay. I mean, this house is just dope, though. This house is actually dope. It's not like they're starting out with something that's no good. There's still a little bit of work to do for it to be complete. Okay, so they're not done. Okay, either which way. And if you guys ever tried to, renovate the house and say, well, we're going to do it with a small amount of money, and you try it and it sucks. Have you ever done that? Or have you? What's your worst experience? What's the worst experience you've ever had? And by the way, in the comments, they say Ottoman. So if what's your worst experience with home renovations? Okay. I know people who've taken out walls that they should not have taken out. Okay. There were things going on. They were no good. Speaking of no good, Mum in Stitches. What? Jake Massey. Look at Jake Massey over there. Look at his face, man. Jake Massey, you are plagiarizing. Mum in Stitches. Left people in stitches. Do they use that a lot, in England or something? What's up with that, man? After children use great grandma's dentures to build a creepy snowman. That is, honest to goodness, creepy. That is messed up. Using the dentures. It's also really ingenious. And whoever did that was super duper smart about all of that. All right. So the last thing. Wow, we're already at the end of the funny stories. Oh, no. No. That makes me sad a little bit. Makes me sad, but we got to get cranking. We got a lot to talk about, okay? So we're going to do this. We're moving on. So you may as well just right now, you may as well get your coffee ready right now. Start getting it ready because we are going to raise those glasses high to the sky. We're going to howl at the sun, rejoicing because today is the day that the Lord has made, and we are fortunate to be part of it. And so we resolve every day. We have a set of resolutions that we make every single day. And we do that during an awesome song with a bunch of people raising glasses and howling. And there's more to be added. I'm sorry they have not been added. We've been working on other things. And honestly, it would be great. I'm reaching out to people for volunteering and even contributing at the site if they want to be part of this. And they don't have to share. I need to make this clear, I guess. They don't need to share all of my beliefs and values. Okay, as long as we're kind of on the same page with some of this stuff, and I'll, if I say no, and say, well, thank you for the offer, but no. Part of that, and I don't want to be rude about it. Part of it is an expectation of excellence in some things. Like you're not a scumbag, right? You're not a gross person, kind of thing. You're not an SJW weirdo. Ain't having that. Okay, no Antifa folks. If you're down with all of that, for example, just as an example, if you're one of those people that says that men should start sitting down to go pee so that we can be more respectful and inclusive of trans men, you're not going to be publishing on my site. Like, that's just one of those things. Because if I can't trust you on how men pee, then I don't know if I can trust you on anything. That seems like a good standard. It says that's just the way it is. I don't know. You're the kind of weirdo that thinks we all got to sit down. It's gross. It's bad enough that ladies got to do it. I've heard with some practice, maybe they don't even have to do it. But the thing is, guys doing it, I don't think so. And for the video game and the brain nonsense going on, with people LARPing in the flesh and stuff, I don't think so. Ain't going to happen. And so, no, none of those, but, while I am a Catholic person, I've said many times, I cite a lot of people on the show that are not Catholic. Okay. I cite them often, in fact. Some of very influential people in my life have not been Catholic, right? In the life of my mind. You can see that with the books that I published or posted on the website, paleocratdiaries.com, on books that have impacted the life of my mind. And it's a long book list, and so you can go ahead and you can check out various books in there. But you'll see it's not like I'm just, in some like Catholic bubble. And so I don't want that to be, I don't want my site to be a Catholic bubble either. Okay, I would understand that for a site like meaningofcatholic.com. I would understand that. Paleocratdiaries.com? No. No, don't understand that. So as long as we're on the same team in this extreme civilizational and cultural crisis that we are experiencing right now, as long as we're on the same team, there will be debates that happen, but they're in-house. So, okay. Man shocked after finding huge Argos sign outside his house. Okay. Oh, are you serious? So somebody just put that up. They're like, hey, here's the Argos sign. Where would you get that? I mean, well, obviously Argos, okay? But what would you do if you woke up in the morning and you came out the door and that was, on your house? You're coming home, you're pulling up and you get home and that right there is in front of your door. The closest thing I have to that is back in college at Christ for the Nations, we had these dorms. I think it was an old Hilton, I think. And so it was like 10 stories. It was a bunch of rooms. It was a Hilton hotel at one point that they turned into a dorm for the men. And so there were on each floor a whole bunch of rooms, and at the end of the hallways there were vending machines, and so you could get pop, you could get whatever. And one morning, me and my cousin we were roommates, and we're racing around trying to get to school. Man, we're running a little bit late and everything. And as he goes and he opens the door, and I'm still putting my tie on and everything, and he opens the door and he sits there for a second. He goes, Jeremiah, just go back to bed. We're not going to school. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he goes, just trust me, we're not going to school. And I'm like, okay. So I go to the door and he closes the door. I go back and I open it up. And when I open it up, lo and behold, there is one of the vending machines pressed up. Somebody had dragged that bugger halfway down the hallway and put it just flush with the door. So you open it up and then they plugged it in. So you open it up and you have a pop, vending machine right there. And you're like, what? A pop machine. And so I'm like, okay, well, I grabbed a pop. We had to push it out of the way. But we don't want to break it. We don't want to break that or anything. That's the closest thing. That's the closest thing I've ever had to that. It did make it hard, though, to get out. I still went to school, but it was hard. This looks like it'd be much easier. You just got to open the door a little bit. Well, I don't know. I guess it depends on if it opens, outward or inward. What goes on? Most of the time, I guess it would be outward, right? Yeah, that would be rough. That'd be rough. But it's being kind of held there by a rope. Okay, held there by a rope. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah. Just floating around town. There's different ones. Is that what's going on here? I don't know. All right, guys. All righty. So we got to do this here. We got to do this. We're gonna do the Wolfpack song here in a minute. So you got to get that coffee ready right now. You've got to do it. Okay. You've got to do it. And we're going to howl at the sun, which we do every single day, resolving in our heart to never give up, to keep on smiling, and to remember death, to remember that we're going to die. And, of course, taking a knee for Jesus Christ. It is, in fact, the way It's one of the ways that we do that on this show. And so it's always a great time. Let me see if I can get back here to the Wolfpack thing here. So, okay, but before we do, I need to do this. We're going to do a quick little break here. Give my voice a break. Get my notes put together. Okay, so we'll be able to. Hold on a second. Let me make sure that the news is removed from that chat screen. Okay. There we go. All right. That way it's not taking up so much computer space. So, all right. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Make sure you get your coffee. When we get back, we're going to do the Wolfpack song, talk for a minute with the people in the comments section, and then we're going to crank it out with the seriously hardcore news. You're not going to want to go anywhere. You are listening to the Wednesday, January 6th edition of Paleocrat Diaries with your host, Jeremiah Bannister. And that's me. Love this video? What a coincidence. I do too. Now head on over to paleocratdiaries.com for more videos, blogs, book and movie reviews, even Team Tiny Dancer stuff. And don't forget to check out our new members and services pages. It's how I pay for my kids to attend Catholic school. Until next time, memento mori. I love that one, by the way. I love that little bumper, man. That little PSA. It's always a happy, good time. It's always a happy, good time. And speaking of a happy, good time, you got to get your glasses, get them ready. I don't care if it's coffee. It doesn't matter. I know some folks are drinking some pop. I know some folks are drinking some Kool-Aid. not that kind of Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? The oh yeah guy. Okay, so they're drinking the oh yeah guy Kool-Aid. And some people drinking water. It happens. I'm drinking some water today. I'm blending it in. Okay, so I got my Fiji water. It's a gift to the Wolfpack from Wonder Woman. Got that. So I don't care what it is. Some people are eating. I got friends on the other side of the planet and listeners on the other side of the planet who tune in and they're like, look, man, it's really late at night, dude. I'm eating dinner or whatever. Well, dude, raise that corn on the cob to the sky, brother. Raise that burrito, okay? Raise that tostada. I don't care what it is. I don't care what you're eating, man. It doesn't matter. Raise that bowl of rice. I don't care. Whatever you're doing, raise it to the sky because we are going to howl at the sun, letting the world know that we're taking a knee for Jesus Christ, that we're letting ourselves know, and in a way that's going to affect all of those people around us. And I know people are having it hard, okay? But reminding everybody, and starting with ourselves, never give up. Keep on smiling. Remember that you're going to die and that you are limited time. You don't know when it's going to happen. And what you do here has eternal ramifications. Not just in heaven, but you've got ramifications that will continue well beyond your death, even here now. Remember these things. And look, I'm going to say this before we move on. You know, I talked to a very good friend. I talked to a very good friend today and just going through a really hard time. She was saying that, you know, all of the things going on in life, all of the things going on in the world, all of the obligations and the difficulties and all of the trouble and the helplessness and hopelessness that comes from that and everything else, sometimes it can be overwhelming. And sometimes it feels as if you've bit off a little bit more than you can chew. Now, that might be possible. That might be possible. At least the taking off a little bit more than you can chew part. That's part of it. Okay, you got to know your limits. And you got to respect that. You got to learn to say no. Okay, to say, I can't do this, or I'd rather not, or not right now. But at the same time, when we're in that place where we're looking out at the world and we're looking inside of ourselves and we're all distraught, that's when these determinations, that's when these convictions mean the most. I've said it before, and I say it in a subtle way, I guess. I say, keep on smiling, even and especially when things are going rough. That and especially is important. It's easy to say smile even when it's tough. It's a different thing to say especially when it's tough. And so we don't do this every day. And I'm not resolved in this way each and every day because it's happy-go-lucky land. In fact, those mottos, the idea of never give up, the idea of keep on smiling, and the idea that we have to keep the idea of death before our eyes always is something that really helped me make it through my daughter's life and death with childhood brain cancer. You're looking death in the face Literally, it's smiling at you, cheerful and chirping, but on its way. You don't know when. You don't know how. You don't know how long it's going to go. You're going to try with everything you've got to try to find some kind of a cure, to try to find some kind of a treatment. You wake up because she's puking and she can't hold down her meds because of the pain. Seeing her eyes sunset down into the side. Can't even look you in the eye anymore. Getting to that place where she can no longer laugh because the cancer is spread into the part of her brain that would control those reactions and emotions. And you've been her court jester her entire life. It was those convictions, those resolutions. And I got 2 of them from her specifically. They were her hashtag never give up, hashtag keep on smiling. And for me, branded deep inside every single day, and for her, and for all of those involved in that, remembering that death awaits not just her, but us. It helped me through that in a way it's painful to think about. So I understand, some people may have gone through things way, way more difficult than that. It's hard to imagine, but I know it's true. But even if it wasn't, don't downplay the difficulties that you have. It's okay. That's part of life. Whether it's at work or school, whether it's with your family or your friends, no matter what it is in your life that you're going through a really difficult time, and it's really emotional, and it's really distressing, that's when we should have a twinkle in our eye. Maybe a tear too, but a twinkle. And we can sit there and say, I know this sucks, but I can resolve, never give up, keep on smiling, memento mori, and do it by taking a knee for Jesus, and of the greatest things here, to be able to cast that care and those burdens on him. Especially. So here we go. We got to do the Wolfpack song. Here we go. I better change the camera. There we go. All right, guys. Get that coffee ready. We're going to be pumped up. Yeah. We're going to be moving forward, talking about politics, talking about culture, talking about religion, refusing to give up. We're going to keep on smiling right now. Give it all you got. Give it everything you got. Do not be embarrassed. Do not be ashamed. Never. Because Christ is King. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I love you, God. I love you, God. And I love that guy. I love that guy so much, man. You just don't even know. You just don't even know. Oh, boy. Okay. I guess, hold on. Before we move on, I got to do this quick announcement again, just in case people are tuning in right now. We'll make it really quick. You can go on to Zazzle, or go to paleocratdiaries.com. There is a link or a post there under the all post. It should be on the main page too. Scroll down a little ways. And it talks about our brand new store. Okay. And on the store, you can find our mugs. You can join us in the howl, right? There's maybe very few ways that would be better. Okay. So these are things that you can do. You got cup number 1. That's the straight to the dome mug. We've got the Paleocrat Wolfpack version. This is actually drawn by my son Ambrose. It's got our family on there. It's got the big wolves. Right, it's got wolves on there, and it's got little Wolfgang wearing his little outfit in the center. So we're super grateful for that little guy. Of course, each one of those mugs comes with the original iconic logo for Paleocrat Diaries. We're going to have a new one that is the new logo that has me screaming into the microphone with that beautiful blue in the background, looking all intense and stuff. Kind of handsome. Kind of a handsome picture. And you can get those in 3 different sizes: jumbo, espresso, and bone china. The espresso and bone china cups are cheaper. And so the jumbo one's like 20 ounces, man. It's like 20 ounces. And so you can see there, and the description, of course, It is microwavable, dishwasher safe, strong ceramic construction, meets FDA requirements for food and beverage safety, and it is printed on demand in Reno, Nevada. So it's American made, and very, very, very excited about that. At least it's printed in America, so it's supporting American jobs insofar as that is concerned. All right. Make sure, again, paleocratdiaries.com. So, okay. So here's the thing, and tell me, guys, tell me where I'm wrong. Okay, Matt Drudge. By the way, Matt Drudge is a sicko. Oh, hold on. I guess before I was just gonna go straight to the news, and I almost forgot the wolf pack. We're all howling at the sun, man. We're all howling at the sun. I got to remind everybody, no matter where you're watching, if you go ahead and you tune in, you're on Facebook, you're on YouTube, Twitch, DLive, doesn't matter where you are, Periscope. If you comment, I can see it. So you may be the only person commenting under that particular channel. But right now, I am streaming right now over 21 different channels on 5 different platforms. Okay, so there are people watching all over the place. You're not alone. And here's proof positive right here. You've got, let's see here. Cherie says, may God bless you and yours, Jeremiah. Love to the wolf pack. Yes, definitely. You're a member. You are a member. Maya says, I just have to say, Jeremiah Bannister, every day I love to stop by and watch at least a little bit of your show so my day can be brightened. Thank you, Paleocrat, for inspiring me to remember to every day take a knee for Jesus, for Jesus. Cast your cares on him. Trust he's good and in control. Know he made you for times like this. Commit to never give up and keep on smiling, and always keep death before you. Memento mori. That's very well written, by the way. That's a really good list of things. And if you do those things, I'm telling you, it's not magic. You're still going to deal. In fact, you got to be grateful for those hardships sometimes. Offer those things up for Jesus Christ. The pain and the agony, the anguish, right? The difficulties that you go through, the discipline, the difficulties of the discipline. All of those things, those are in fact graces. Your crosses in life are graces. And if we view them that way, it doesn't mean that you're just like happy, gleeful, yay, I'm going through the hardest time. This is great. At the same time, it helps to contextualize what this is actually about and what benefit it is to us. It's not just something that, it's meaningless. It's always something valuable. And God uses these things in powerful ways to help us in fleshing out and working out our salvation with fear and trembling. All right. Lurgert said, Socrates died from eating a Christmas tree. Yeah, man, people got to stay away. I'm telling you, I'm not down with this whole eat a Christmas tree thing. We talked about earlier in the show. Let's see. Angela Bannister, I did not forget about the coffee. Was going to bring it down, but noticed I brewed the single instead of the carafe. How'd you pronounce that? Carafe? I don't know, man. I don't know what that's all about. Shirley says, running late, but I made it. Yes, hey, I'm glad. I am glad. Yes, here. Let's see here. Bethany said, aw, talking to Maya, you're so kind, and he's going to cry again, and that's okay. You always saying I'm going to cry. How many shows have I done? I'm on 5 days a week, you know what I mean? I think I've cried like 4 times, 5 times in 4 months. It's like once a month I cry. I'm not, look, you got to really hit me pretty good. Although that was a good one. And maybe part of me was choking up a little bit, but I was shoving it back down. You're not going to cry today, bro. You are not going to cry. Okay, we're not doing it today, buddy. No, not today. I'm going to try really hard. Let's see. Mize Ross is a poster child for vanity, isn't it? Yeah, Ross is. Yeah, call them all out. Oh, man. David Rush. Yeah, David Rush. Oh, totally, man. Totally. CF Hulling says, TikToking it up. We're talking about the people in the bathtub. Yes, dude, that's what they're doing. We cannot trust. If we see stuff with TikTok on it, you just back away, man. Back away, unless it's somebody like, me making fun of that crap. Exposing them. That's what we do here, man. We are exposing the TikTokers, dude. Can't tolerate that crap. And people are like, you should start a TikTok channel. I'm like, no. Let me think about that for a second. No. Ain't playing that game, dude. Ain't playing the game. Brian says, that's the better question. Why was she in the bathroom with her dad, and why did he allow it? Isn't that true? Girl walks in, and it's not like she walked in and had any kind of shame either. You know, or that she has a phone. Why would she walk in with a phone? You know, what's the point of this? And it wasn't just her. It sounded like there were two people, didn't it? Let's see here. Liberal arts. Why did you have to touch your glasses as you said that, bro? What are you talking? What glasses what did I do when I touched my glasses? Did I touch them? What was that all about, man? I don't know what you're even talking about, liberal arts. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, buddy. Yeah, but it's a good laugh. And yeah, we're bros. We're good. We're good. Let's see here. Shirley says, liar, liar, pants on fire. Good thing you were in the bathtub to put the fire out. Yeah, because I'm telling you, the whole thing is wicked. That's going to be the story of the day. Everybody's going to remember that. They're going to be like, oh, yeah, man, that story, that was messed up crap, man. That was totally messed up, dude. Yeah. Yeah. Again, Shirley says, beautiful lady taking care of her man, talking about my wife. You better believe it. You better believe it, man. My wife is superb, okay? My wife is superb. She is the greatest human being. I love her with all of my heart. And it's one of these things, you know, it's a complementarian thing, the relationship that we have. And I talked about it on Thanksgiving. That was a crying moment. And if you want to see me cry, you got to go to the Paleocratdiaries.com because there's two videos that it says unlisted in all caps. One of those was the Spooktacular. That was our All Saints, All Hallows Eve / Halloween edition, the Spooktacular. And that one was just really emotional. I mean, at the end of it, it was funny leading up, but toward the end, man, it was a certain story that just rocked my universe. And then on Thanksgiving, because I talked about my wife and the many, many ways that I am grateful and thankful for her in my life. So very, very happy. Mike Keith, yes, you're talking about an ottoman. It is an ottoman, I guess, yes. So it makes sense. I don't know, you know, footstool sound, you know, what's cool? I guess ottoman does sound pretty dope, you know. Footstool doesn't sound as good, you know. In ottoman, you don't really, like when I hear ottoman, my first thought is not stanky feet. But if I hear footstool, I'm kind of like, oh, that's like multiple things going on there. Foot and, you know, stool. Multiple growth. Yeah, not a cool thing. David Herster says there's nothing new under the sun. Agree with that, by the way. There's nothing new. And that's why a lot of the things we're going to talk about here, there's a lot of people who are acting as if this is a brand new thing that we're dealing with. All of the cultural crisis that we are engaged in right now. It's a clash of civilizations. It's a cultural crisis. And they act as if this is all new, or the ideas of the left and the ideas of globalism. And I'm like, dude, this is ancient witchcraft, man. This is old school voodoo stuff. Okay, none of this crap is new. It's like footnotes to the rest of the things that were to the original ideas as they flesh themselves out in space and time. And I don't like to think that the footnotes describing that or adding to that, you know, or amending it, that these are necessarily new. Okay, in the response to them, by the way, even the wrong ones. So not just the right response. There's a right response, and there are wrong responses, and we're going to talk about some of those in this particular episode. I've talked about the wrong response and how a lot of individuals feel like they just got to keep on using that George W. Bush style conservatism, and that's going to win the day, you know, and the claims you just, you know, resurrect and drag the corpse of Ronald Reagan to the modern time, and that's just going to win the day. And I'm like, you don't understand how these cultures and civilizational wars, how these things work. If you think that's how it works, you're not going to find much precedent for that, by the way, that kind of a thing. Not to victory anyway. And there's a reason why when that's been the strategy for so long on the American right, that it was legitimate to call conservative people beautiful losers. In fact, it's a great book. It's a great book. Right here. Shirley, I'm not Catholic. We're in the same wolf pack. You better believe it. You better believe it. We are in this wolf pack together. And as I said, you know, in the situation we're dealing with right now, if you think about it, you know, there's been days and ages where that kind of a separation, it was not only reasonable, but in fact important. Okay. But when the savages are in the gates and they're in our churches, they're in politics, they're in every institution all around us, they're on the TV, they're on the radio, they're not just there, but they dominate it. They're dominating these things when it's gotten to that place, and now their teeth their fangs are just dripping with blood, and they want it. They crave it like sharks, and they're coming at us, and they see both of us, and we're wearing a cross and a crucifix around our necks, right? They're not going to sit there and go, well, that one's a Protestant, I'm going after the Catholic guy, or vice versa. That's fake. That's fake. They hate Jesus. It's more than me and you. They hate Christ the Lord. They hate Christ the King. They hate the kingdom of God. They hate the Bible. They hate all of it, and they want it gone. And they're at a place now where they are a political unit powerful enough, having saturated, right? Having saturated all of these different markets, all of these different cultural power points, right? Institutional. And they've saturated that. And so now they're not just saturating it, they've literally, it's like demonic leaven, right? It's like the bad leaven. And we're called to be the good leaven. We got to overpower this. Thankfully, we are children of the light, and no matter how hard the darkness tries, it simply cannot overpower the light. It just can't. Let's see here. A couple more of these comments here. We need you guys to make a mug dedicated to your daughter in heaven, maybe a mug with artwork she created. We are going to definitely do that 100%. I mentioned that earlier, that in the first half of the show, that we're going to do Team Tiny Dancer mugs, including her Never Give Up, Keep On Smiling picture that was used by Make-A-Wish when she was nominated and highlighted as the ambassador of the year for the Wish Ball. In fact, it was the year that she died. And so that picture was powerful. A lot of people have it on their desks, at different places of work and stuff, and been a big inspiration to people. We'll have that one. We've got a bunch of pictures of her. We've got a picture of the family, the photo that was taken, the family picture that was taken at the chapel at the Children's Hospital the day before her 17-hour brain surgery. It's a powerful picture, and we'll have that, as well as the one on my website where I'm laying on her chest and she's looking over at the camera. That was the last time we did pillow blankets. It's a family tradition that began with her when she was little, and I've told that story before. But we're going to have all that, bro. Believe me. We're doing it. It's okay. Yeah, someone said, the image of you with the cartoon eyes, who created that? It's very Scott Pilgrim-esque. I created that, buddy. Me gusta. Yeah, I created that, dude. I created that. Let's see. Maya says, you're being strong today. Strong, we are weak. You know what? That's one of those... We build on each other, don't we? Don't we? We have to build. It's a symbiotic thing. It's like the wolf pack, where you look and you say, with wolves as they're migrating and walking around, the weak ones are in the front, right? The alphas and stuff, man, they're in the back keeping guard. Jesus, that's Jesus, man. Jesus is the one looking out for us, And then the strong ones, those are the ones up by the weak ones, and it kind of that way it's spread out. Because they're there together. They're going at the pace, in fact, of those people, of those wolves that are having a harder time, maybe old, maybe weak, or hungry. And we got to be kind of the same way. We got to pick each other up and say, look, come on. If I got to sling you over my shoulder and carry you through the war, I'm going to be doing it. Because I know that you would do it for me. Because we are literally in this together, right? And so I'm strong for you. You're strong for me. We're all strong for each other. And at the base of it all, the energy that we have and the motivation we have is Christ the King. That's the way it is. Let's see here. Last one, Jeremiah. It's George W. Bush, not George W. George W. Okay, I got it. Yeah, okay. So we're moving on. Done with that. So, okay. Again, make sure you comment. We'll go ahead and try to keep it engaged throughout the... Oh, I got to do better than that. Hold on a second. What the heck? Well, there we go. Oh, look at that. I'm going to scooch over it. I'll scooch over here. I gotta do this. So here's the thing. So yesterday, and I was saying earlier, I said, how many of you guys were up all night biting your nails down to the bone, bleeding all over your lips, freaking out about Georgia? And I sit there and I say, look, people who tune into this show, please stop. Please just stop. Because, and people say, well, yeah, but if they have the Senate too, man, it's going to rock our world. You know what? The idea that if we had those two in the Senate, that our world would not be rocked, that's just fantastical thinking. I mean, it's like, That's totally fake. That's totally fake. By the way, Purdue, and how is he doing, by the way? How's Purdue doing? And Loeffler, was she inspiring? Were you guys really inspired by her? I'm being really dead serious about this. Were you really inspired by her? Do you not think that she was scamming on that whole money thing? Do you not think that? Do you not think that she's swampy as heck? I mean, like, I don't mean to be rude about it, but I mean, she's totally a swamp monster. She's a swamp monster, man. That's like insider stuff. And the cop out was lame. It was super weak. And look, I'm willing to deal. I'm willing to deal for very pragmatic purposes, limited and contained, with swamp monsters. And I would rather have a swamp monster like her or Purdue. He's worse. Purdue, remember the video? Purdue in the Zoom call talking about, and she was in it too, and she didn't call him out on it. But the idea, he was saying, oh, I think we can actually get a lot more done if we have Joe Biden in office. Mitch's boys, they used to work together. I think, it's been tough to get stuff done. So, because the Dems don't like it, and I think we can move forward and do a lot of things. And I'm looking forward to the Joe Biden administration, blah, 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 blah. That's a chariot and a horseman that I'm definitely not putting my faith in. I'm not going to bite my nails to the bone about that. And not only that, even if they were, let's say they were really great. Let's say they were just totally awesome and there was no problem ever with any of these people. Let's just say that, right? We're talking Georgia. Georgia's been at the center of, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Arizona, you name it, Wisconsin, Georgia. That's been like the hot point of all of this. Scam Central, man. Scam Central. And it doesn't matter, the Republicans and the Democrats over there. Doesn't matter. We know it. We know it because we've seen it. We've seen the kind of betrayal, the treacherous crap that's gone on over there. So you look at it and you go, there's multiple factors at play here. Multiple. That was the hotbed of all the repeated use of all of the ballots, shutting down the arena. Oh, why'd you shut down the arena? There was a huge water burst with a pipe. Well, where's the work order for that? I don't know. I guess we must have misplaced it. That's the place that had all the stuff under the tables. That's the one that said, everybody go home. We're going home for the night. And then lo and behold, it was just Democrats in the room and they're pumping through a whole bunch of these ballots over and over and over. It's on video, man. That's where we are. And it has not been resolved, by the way. All of the claims. You look and you say, that's because we're in this idea, and we have to do this, okay? I'm not meaning to dog this. We have this idea that if we just present the evidence, that's going to somehow prove it, and everybody's going to be like, well, yeah, it's obvious, plain as day. That's a rationalist understanding of the way people work. People are not rational in that way. Especially not in a time, in an era, a spirit of an age that is an absolute political era. I don't know what to tell you. The idea that, well, if we just present a good argument, that's a hangover. That may be ideal, but it sure as heck is not where we are now. And that's what we did. And the GOP was lackluster. The GOP, think about this. Think about what the GOP has done since they knew we would have this runoff. Just think of what they did or did not do. And then ask yourself, are you really going to shame the everyday person? Why didn't you go out and do that? Why didn't you go out and do more? There's a threshold, isn't there? Where people just go, you know what? F you. F you. F you and everybody else. And you can say, yeah, but that's it. It's going to be worse off. And you go, yeah, that's right. But I'm not playing LARPing here. I'm not pretending. I'm not pretending that there is a democratic electoral solution to this problem. We can see that even with the presidency of Donald Trump. That's just a fact. Look, I hate to break it to people that way. I know it can be disheartening. They'll be like, man, what are you saying? You saying we couldn't drain the swamp with Donald Trump? And I'm saying, Look at how much was not drained. Look at the last minute thrashing that's been going on. Look at it. And say, why was John Bolton ever hired? Why? Priebus, why? Why were these people hired? Why were they tolerated at every level? These are appointments. And yet we say, well, he couldn't do anything about it. So it's one of those things where we give him credit for the good things, but we don't give him blame for the bad. That is just simply not the way that I roll. I'm so sorry. It doesn't mean I support him any less, because the truth is, I have put myself on the line for this stuff. I have put myself on the line speaking at rallies with my hat on, boldly, talking about it day in and day out, adding an hour to the show just so that we could get down to the nitty gritty with this, just so that we could pump all that information out and everybody would have it. So don't give me this crap. I don't buy it. And it should have been, in fact, this is how bad the situation is. This is how bad the situation is that people loathe the Republican Party at this point, and the leaders of the Democratic Party. You got Kamala Harris. Look, Biden is a joke. We know that. That's not even up for debate. You know, he's a complete joke, extraordinarily underwhelming. Like at another level of underwhelming. I don't even know. What is more underwhelming than Joe Biden? I'm serious. What's more underwhelming? Can you name something that you were like, oh man, this is going to be amazing. It's going to be dope. And then you get to it and you're like, yeah, no. Joe Biden. Joe Biden. It's like the definition of underwhelming. And then you've got Kamala Harris. Again, a pathetic loser, a complete liar and hypocrite, lying so badly. Imagine for a moment, you know, the two of them, that we're in a world, and this should say something about the rational appeal. Okay, the idea that if we just present the truth, that's all that matters. And it's not about politics at this point. It's just phony. And this is one of the reasons you can know this, because we all know for a fact that Joe Biden plagiarized the daylights out of so many different people for his entire career. We've showed it on the show. We showed it on the show. Lie after lie after lie after lie after lie after lie ad nauseum. Ugh, making me sick to my stomach. And lying about things to do with his family, family history, family stories. Strangely enough, maybe one of the only things that might have actually been somewhat realistic was his outrageous story about corn pop. Funny enough, actually. But the thing is it's not just him. It's not just him. And we got to add this. He also was responsible for the constant lying that went on during the active wars with Iraq and Afghanistan. In the heyday of it. Because they lied over and over and over. It was revealed. It was leaked. You have all of these emails that show what the military was actually saying. And what were they saying? Oh, I don't know. The exact opposite of what Obama and Biden were saying. So they're willing to lie all over the place to the American public. And we know it. It's been leaked. We can see it and make a comparison. It doesn't matter. Same thing with Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris lies through her stinking teeth. Remember the situation where she was going after Biden because he was a racist and a sexist. She was saying that he was wrong on all of these issues, that if it was a Republican saying them, she'd just call them a full-blown member of the Klan. And she was pretty harsh against him in the debate, by the way. But then she gets chosen. She gets chosen as the running mate. And next thing you know, she's on with Stephen Colbert, and Stephen Colbert brings this up in a stunning moment of, you know, some degree of integrity. He brings it up. And she goes, oh, Stephen, it was just a debate. It was just a debate, Stephen. So we know that she's willing to lie about believing women who make claims that they were sexually assaulted. Wow. For what? For the sake of a debate. That is the means justifies the ends on steroids. It just is. I mean, you are pumping that bugger with some juice. You're looking like Marcus Rule of the if lies coming out of these people were bodybuilders, they'd be like Marcus Rule. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, the guy is a complete monster. He's a physical freak of nature. And that's what it is. And then what does she do now? What does she do now? She pulls a story from Martin Luther King Jr. She pulls a story when I was 2 years old. She does it on TV again. Another time with this time with Fallon. This time with Fallon. And what does she do? So she's going on with all the comics, right? With all the comics. Propagandists, by the way. Total tools. Not only the party system, but of the deep state. Big time. So she goes on there and she's talking to him and saying, man, you know what? It's crazy. When I was 2 years old, I was in a stroller and I got out of the stroller and my parents didn't know where I was. And they're looking around for me like Jesus and stuff and Mary and Joseph. And they find me. And they're like, hey, what do you want, sweetheart? And I look at them and say, freedom. It's totally ripped off from a story in Playboy with Martin Luther King Jr. We talked about it yesterday. And yet, the current culture that we live in, even with those facts, not deterred. Not deterred. They're barely deterred from turning off fake news or deterred from leaving big tech. It's just the way that it works. And it's how stupid it is. Candace Owens, she put, I never shared this story, but my mother tells me that when I was 2 years of age, I looked up to her and my father with bright eyes and uttered my first full sentence, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we're free at last. Freedom. It's a joke, man. Tim Young, I don't always agree with this. If you think you're having a rough day, imagine being the devil who had to create a brand new special place in hell for attempting to plagiarize Martin Luther King to score political points. Tim, I can appreciate the kind of politics he's playing here, because this is politics. But the truth is, Martin Luther King Jr. was a raging plagiarizer. He was a raging plagiarizer. In fact, the speech that he's known for, the I Have a Dream speech, you know how much of that was plagiarized? His doctoral dissertation, at least he didn't call him Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The only reason that the college didn't take it away, is because, well, at this point, what's the point? I'd be like, well, academic integrity. I mean, you know, academic integrity. I mean, let somebody else give him an honorary degree. Let somebody else say, well, okay, we still want to call him doctor. He's a plagiarizer, and in all likelihood, a raging scumbag, and a commie too. He was a big fan of the commie crap. It's true. But a lot of people, they don't even understand. They don't understand the nature of the political moment that we're in. And they think that the tools that have been used before by previous expressions of conservatism, that those were not in part responsible for the clown show that we're currently in, and that they are the only weapons and tools at our disposal in order to remedy the situation we're in. And I'm like, dude, they helped put together the clown car. It was completely ineffective. Look at the domination. Look at how the freakish worldview of the left is sweeping through this nation and sweeping across the world. And say, who's been at the helm of the resistance this whole time? What views were the underlying assumptions, were the dogmas, in fact, that were ineffective in preventing that? Why did we ever do this in the first place? Why did we ever fall prey to these notions? And they were logical extensions of materialism. They were logical extensions of rationalism. They were logical extensions of capitalism and the notions of progress that were en vogue during the time of Darwin and since Darwin. But at the same time, you sit there and you go, man, it hasn't done good. Not only did they not prevent the clown car, we have a society right now, a culture that's completely ravaged by perversion, blasphemy. Perversion and blasphemy. Raging wickedness, apostasy through the roof. And I refuse to sit there and say, well, you know what? George W. did his best. Or, you know, we just need to get back to the original brand of conservatism that was really popular in the 80s and 90s. No, that's not the way it is. And by the way, I like Reagan as much as the next hardcore traditional person. I like a lot about Reagan. I like a lot about candidate Reagan. But candidate Reagan and President Reagan did something a little different on a really specific score. And that was allowing, right, and fueling the deep state beyond what it was before he got there. And he was originally opposed to this idea, didn't want anybody who was involved with the deep state and military industrial complex. Council on Foreign Relations, Trilateral Commission. He was one of those people that was openly talking about it. And then guess what? He picks George Herbert Walker Bush. And what do we get? We get the coronation of neoconservatism, even if it was only in the admin. Even if iconically he was still on the throne, you are seeing the ascendancy of a kind of conservatism that totally sucks. That was responsible for jobs getting sent overseas, getting sent over the border. The same understanding, the same ideas, the same worldview, the same values and principles. That's why we have a uniparty. That's why. That's why Democrats and Republicans for so many years have been able to do the swampiest things. How do you think it got to the swamp? In spite of them? Wow, we're giving too much credit to the Dems. Give credit where it's due. Take, for example, this. You know, I know people who, they're like, dude, Dan Crenshaw is great. Dan Crenshaw is awesome. Let's see. Shocking. This is Lauren Witzke. You want to talk about somebody I like? Lauren Witzke. Like her. I'm sure we'd have disagreements, but I like her. I'm glad she's there. Shocking. Dan Crenshaw, Texas, shows his hatred for Americans yet again, and he voted against the $2,000 in direct stimulus aid to starving American families. Not shocking is Crenshaw took no issue with the billions of dollars in foreign aid spending. What does it say beneath that? Suspected homosexual Dan Crenshaw is an anti-worker and anti-white butt pirate? What? I didn't know that was there. Did I read that right? Yeah, I think Oh, man. Oh, man. Well, it's gotten to the point, think about this. It's gotten to the point where that brand of conservatism cannot look at what is traditionally and biblically diabolical, biblically abhorrent, okay, anathema, to be able to look at that and say, that's bad, that's wicked, to speak as God spoke about those topics. And we can see that, for example, even in the whole situation with the encounter with Nick Sandmann. Because you have the Black Hebrew Israelites or whatever behind, and they're throwing out a bunch of comments about them being gay, and they're going to grow up with the priests and they're going to be all gay. And so many people on the right ended up sounding far more liberal, if you think about it, and be honest about this. Anyone who's lived through the 70s, 80s, and 90s, anyone who's lived through that, you tell me, which group actually sounded more traditional in that regard? A group of people. Now, was it right for them to say certain things to a bunch of teenagers? I would say no, it's inappropriate. But their opposition to perversion, their opposition to sodomy, and then the right using that opportunity to say, man, these people are homophobic. Well, define that now. Define it then. You know, if you oppose it and you say that that's bad, if you say that that is not appropriate, if you say that it's sin, is that homophobic? Apparently. That's trendy on the right. It's amazing. That brand of conservatism. Look at Conservative Inc., man. Look at TPUSA. That's just ragingly gay crap. That's tranny crap left and right. And Marone says in the comments, Jeremiah getting all spicy with the MLK comments. But you're spitting facts. Dude, look, this is what the show is about. If I'm going to get in trouble, I want to know that I'm getting in trouble with YouTube and big tech for doing my absolute best. And could I be wrong? Yeah, could be. If you think I'm wrong, send me a comment. Send me an email. I've admitted I'm wrong before. On the air, I even mentioned stuff where I need to do better about stuff that I say. I've done that on air as well. But tell me I'm wrong about this. Tell me I'm wrong about this. Because ultimately, conservatism is one of those things, and I've used the phrase before, saying that American culture has become a clown car, and we're all in it, and we're flying over the cliff. My dad used to say, the Democrats are flying over the cliff at 90, and the Republicans are flying over the cliff at 70, but either car you're in, you're flying over the cliff. And I would say we're all in the same clown car. There's not even two clown cars anymore. It's like pole position, the old cartoon, with the red car and the pink car and the blue car, boy and the girl car. That, by the way, would now be some kind of phobic. That'd be some kind the binary, the blue and the yellow. It's gotten to that point. Those two cars come together, become one car, morph into one ridiculous clown car. And we're all inside that one now. And our leaders in our churches, our leaders in our state, our leaders in various institutions and think tanks, activist organizations, you name it, lobbyists, you name it, even if they're for good causes, so many of them have committed to this incrementalism that says it's inevitable that we are going to go to this place where the left is ultimately dragging us. But we need to acclimate, and that takes time. And so we're not trying to turn the car around. Instead, we're pumping the brakes. Look out the window, guys. Check out the scenery on the Sunday stroll right off the cliff. Right off the cliff. In the comments, Maya says, this is exactly right. Reagan deep in the deep state, and he gave Big Pharma massive power. Yes, totally true. Because of him, we're in the current situation we're in. Here's another one. Divorce. Divorce. Look at the history of divorce. We talk about, look at all the families that don't have dads. Look at all the kids that are being raised in split homes. Look at all of it, one after another, after another, after another, after another. And we say, well, man, marriage is sacred. Marriage is sacred. And all the while, you say, well, where did that no-fault divorce crap come from? It's not good. And that, again, I'm the kind of guy that I can watch a good Reagan clip and really love it and get pumped up. Super patriotic, man. I got red, white, and blue in the veins. But at the same time, you have to be able to look at individuals and not idolize them. No idols. Yes, James says, don't forget, Reagan gave amnesty to 2 million illegals. Yes. One thing after another thing after another thing. Here's one thing, though, that it was good. Decreasing the amount of money that was dedicated to population control funds. In fact, he was the only president by 2004 who had done it since the legalization of Roe versus Wade in abortion. Oh, man. It's just the way it is, man. It's just the way it is. So Patrick Casey says the GOP in its current form simply isn't worth preserving. Now, I'm a delegate. I'm a delegate. I believe working within and without. In fact, I was watching a show yesterday, and there was a person who is a Constitution Party guy, right? I used to be a member of that. I was a national delegate for the Constitution Party in 2004. I helped to nominate Michael Perutka. Met him, had pictures with him, met a whole bunch of the people there. I was involved with the Michigan Taxpayers Party, right? Because the Constitution Party is a network of independent state parties, and on a national level, that's what they're called. And so I eventually left, and it wasn't long after, because it's in the early days of like forums and stuff. And I remember getting in this big debate over pro-life, and there was somebody who was talking about that abortion needs to be legal. He was a chairman of a state chapter, and I think it's Nevada. The guy's a Mormon. He's a kind of a fundamentalist Mormon. And they got weird views, by the way, about abortion and about when life begins, about the concept of ensoulment, for example. And so I took the position, no excuses. Like you don't do that. And so they took the position that was slavery, and that made somebody, kind of like, who with the mustache thing. And so we get into this debate in these forums, and I'm owning the daylights out of this guy. But it led to such a point where the Constitution Party nationally was in a crisis mode. People were very, very split over this. And they ended up going down, I think they went to Florida, and they had a national debate over it. And a person told me, you don't have to go, Jeremiah. You don't have to go. Print out all your materials so they'll probably have it already, but print out the material that you've been doing with this guy, this debate, because we went head to head, man. I mean, this guy sucked. So I'm going just crushing him. And the thing is, they told me, no, you don't have to go. It's going to be leaders of this and that. And the person who told me I didn't have to go ended up being one of the, if not the deciding vote, one of the deciding votes that made it so that it allowed for differences of opinion on the national platform and the party for abortion. There was a schism. People split, man. They were out. They wanted nothing to do with that. And after that, I still stuck around. But the thing is that it didn't take long before I started to realize this is not even a political unit. It doesn't have the power to make enemies, to declare friends and enemies. It doesn't have the political power. It's purely an abstraction. They have numbers on ballots. You can go and vote for them. So in that regard, it is colloquially a political unit. At the same time, it lacks any kind of force beyond the mere imaginings of people who take very seriously putting together bills and proposals to say, we propose to the Michigan legislature to do this and this and this. And a number of those things were rooted in conversations around a table, I was there, that had to do with the end times, the rapture. And I'm like, bro, you're not going to get very far beyond the snake handlers, man. Like, what are we doing here? Are you some kind of scholar? Are you a theologian? What are you doing, man? I was out, dude. I was out. So I sit there, and I know people in the American, what is it, the American Solidarity Party? Is that what it's called? The American Solidarity Party. That's another one of those things, man. The guy with the neck beard that ran this year. Them. And so they're like, we need to build. And look, bravo, man. You want to build and get to a certain point. I wish you the best. I think it would be good to have a greater degree of recognition and openness to national parties, if in fact they are legitimately national. I think they should have access to debate stages on a presidential level. I was glad to see when Jill Stein, back in 2012, she tried to get into the debate. Same thing with Pat Buchanan. Both of them get arrested. I would rather have debates where you have those parties present so that we can actually hear those differences of opinion. But the truth is, as a political unit, the idea that they're anywhere near capacity and ability to actually govern a city, much less a state, much less a country, is absurd. And so the question is, what do you do? Well, for me, I'm part of the GOP. I'm actively engaged on the inside. But I'm one of those that is willing to look at my fellow members in the GOP and tell them, I got my eyes on you. And if you think that you're going to be able to convince me and compel me to go and vote for somebody who's a raging scumbag, and the best argument you've got is, well, they're not as bad as the other scumbag, I kind of go, bruh. Bruh. Especially in the culture as it stands right now. The culture as it stands right now, under different circumstances, maybe. We talked yesterday, didn't we? About the idea that we used to live in a world where people would say, well, let's go ahead and we can debate these issues out. And we'd go into venues, into theaters or auditoriums, and coffee shops and get together and we debate this stuff out. And you say, it got to a place where eventually one side kept believing that they won and marching forward and putting their flags everywhere they went, and got to a place where now that group believes that those are not debatable issues anymore, and for you to keep peddling them anymore is something that maybe warrants you being censored. That's what it is. It's a tough deal. That's where we are, though. So to think that there is a democratic or electoral solution to this problem that we're facing is just fake.
As interim president pro tempore of the
Okay, real quick. I'm going to take a break for a second here. I want you to hear this. This is powerful because this is basically saying that regardless of the idea that there might not be an electoral answer to this problem, right? That it might not boil down to ballots, and that's how we're going to fix America is the ballot box. I don't believe that, by the way. I don't believe that. I believe it plays a role, but it's extremely minimal. Extremely. And I prioritize it in that fashion. However, you can see in time the necessity of that to still be there, because there will be times like this where this sort of thing happens. And this is in Pennsylvania. This is them making some pretty strong moves when it comes to the certification of results. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go ahead and watch this video, and I'll be back in just a moment.
As interim president pro tempore of the Senate, a motion has been made to invoke section 576 of Mason's Manual of Legislative Procedure to replace the lieutenant governor who has refused to perform the duties.
Mr. President, I am
in
totally
accordance with the
object to
Senate
this.
powers
It
under
is
Article
not
2
in
of
control of the
Pennsylvania
Senate.
Constitution.
It has not been acquiesced.
Question
We are
shall
not
the Senate
changing the
invoke
process.
section
That you are changing the
576
rules as we move
and
along.
replace the lieutenant
That is
governor with the interim
inappropriate. You
president
are
pro tem,
breaking the Constitution
presiding
and the
over the
laws of the
Senate.
Commonwealth and
The clerk
violating the
will call
oath of
the
office
roll.
you've actually taken. There's nothing about this day that is appropriate. Nothing. And we will not lay down and roll over because you got four more folks on that side of the aisle. This is about Pennsylvania. It's not Democrats or Republicans. This is not about simply winning. It's about protecting our democracy. That's what this is.
Aye.
Arnold, aye. Almond,
There's no roll call vote, Mr. President. It has not been acknowledged. It has not been
Baker.
recognized. It is inappropriate to do such. We will
Aye.
not participate in this farce.
Bartolotta, aye. Blake, or Judy, aye. Williams, Anthony H.
Mr. President, I don't know what the hell we're doing. I'm not sure why we're voting. We've crossed the bridge. We've broken all sorts of rules today. I don't know what we're saying yes to or no to because this is a violation of the process. The gentleman who sits in the podium, the rostrum, is still the presiding officer of the
Anthony
Senate.
H.
And any such indication of otherwise is obviously a takeover of the government. That is totally inappropriate
Williams,
against the
Anthony
violation
H.
of oath of their offices. So as far as I'm concerned, I can say any gosh darn thing I want to say, and I'm going to say it as long as I choose to say it. No!
No. Williams, Lindsay,
And they just move on. They just move on. They just move on. And this is the thing. Republicans were doing that. The guy screaming and saying this is unconstitutional. He's understanding, like in a normal world of etiquette and decorum and everything else, that would simply be the way that it would work. But the Republicans there also understand that there were shenanigans that went on that were of such a grave nature that this secures for them the idea that they would be able to do that and to have such questionable results, and at the same time be able to lock those questionable results in. What do you do? What do you do? If somebody's a purist, would they side with the Republicans, or in that situation, would they side with the Democrats? What you saw there, in fact, was a form of rebellion. And the guy was actually right in a way. The Democrat guy was actually right in a way. He's like, look, what's happening here, this would be ragingly unconstitutional according to their guidelines. Was he screaming the same way when the judicial branch and executive branch made decisions regarding the election? It's out of their purview. It's unconstitutional that they did it. Was he up there screaming like that, foaming at the mouth? And so you can't let him play that game. You can't let him play that game. And otherwise, you're consigning yourself. You're saying, well, for this idea, we're in a culture where, boy, I wish it was different. That's true. I do too. Wouldn't that be great if we could get back to that debate stage? Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great if all you had to do was just present evidence and otherwise fair-minded and rational people would agree to, do the whole swashbuckling thing? Intellectual swashbuckling. Wouldn't that be great? That would be wonderful. But if you say, man, if you sit there, man, I really wish this was the case. This is what we should be doing. I really wish this is the case. And they put you up in front of the firing squad, put it over you. What do you do? Is it a time of peace or a time of war? You tell me. I'd like to know. Are the rules the exact same? What's acceptable and what's not? I've called for direct action. I've called for people to make the swamp extremely uncomfortable. And here we go. Here's an example of it.
How you doing?
Put your mask down.
Don't tell me what to do.
Please put
That's
your
Mitt
mask
Romney.
on. It's required by law in this airport.
I'm standing 6 feet away.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll tell you what, because you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it because I want to have a chat with you. Why aren't you supporting President Trump?
I do support the things President Trump does that I think I agree with.
You're not supporting him.
I'm sorry, I do agree with many of the things he is for, and I support those things.
Are you going to support him in the fraudulent vote
Overturn
system?
the election? No, I'm not.
Why not?
Because it's a long story. I didn't get a chance to hear my remarks in Congress. It's going to be a real long story.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
It's a long story, but we have a constitution. The constitutional process is clear.
Do you see it? Do you hear it again? We have a constitution. We have
Well,
a
you haven't
constitution.
supported him,
Again,
and you didn't even support him in the election.
locking it in.
Why?
For reasons I explained at the time.
Yeah, for reasons I explained at the time. Again, glad that this lady made him a little bit uncomfortable, but that makes other people uncomfortable. That makes other people uncomfortable. Okay? So when you sit there and you say, man, what do we do in a situation where if we play by those rules, you don't have to play by those rules in society. You don't have to play it by those rules when it comes to the process. But then when it lands at the feet of the swamp monster and the uniparty, when it lands at the feet of those freaks, they fall back and all of a sudden they feign a commitment that they don't otherwise have. They don't have it. So what do? We do say, well, but he's got a point about that. No, he does, but he's using it as a tool of domination. He's not using it in a way that is remotely consistent. And he thinks that those rules are still even useful anymore in some ways. You sit there and you go, there's a point when the founders said that our form of government only functions for a specific kind of people. That's it. There are certain preconditions. And those preconditions are that you're morally upright. In fact, I'll go further. That you're Christian. And people can say, well, what about Judeo-Christian? Say if you are a Christian, if you have ideas regarding the West, and you say, well, there's no religious test, and you go, yes, and that may have in fact been one of the worst things that we could possibly have put in the new Constitution. There's a great book. People should read it. It's a section of a book called Political Polytheism by Dr. Gary North. And in that book, he talks about what was it beforehand, and I think wall builders do the same thing. What was it that was beforehand? What expectations were required, not only of politicians, but also of people who would testify in courts? And you get rid of those things, and then we're all surprised and outraged by the people who go up on the stage and talk about Cthulhu, and who talk about Amen and Ah woman. And we get upset about that as if it's not a logical extension and consequence of a seed that was planted many, 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 many years ago. It is a consistent outgrowth of that. But I'm going to continue to be mad about that because I believe that God judges nations, not just people. Not just people. He judges nations. He did in the past. He doesn't change. That's why we have to go out and baptize nations. We're not just baptizing individuals. We are even allegorically, we are baptizing them in the sense that they have taken on that burden, right? And that responsibility, that blessed burden that says we as a nation must take a knee. We as a nation must give glory to God, because otherwise We are the kingdom of man. We're the Tower of Babel. We're just a dirty, rotten Caesar. I don't buy it.
Stand up and let me see who you are. Let's see who you are. We're done with your fucking shit. What the hell out? Jumper. Biden is a pedophile.
So people going to the Trump rally, you're seeing the divide. I'm only showing you this as an example. These people get on a plane. Would you ever expect this?
He just threatened to fucking kill us. He just threatened
Yeah.
all of us.
Lots of swear words in that. Lots of swear words in that. And people are like, look, man, my kids are here. And you go, wouldn't it be great if we were back in a world where that actually mattered culturally? But it's kind of hard to do that when these same people who say stuff like that are the ones plopping their kids in front of Cartoon Network, as Cartoon Network is propagating the idea of training land. Don't give me this crap. That's some pick and choose nonsense, man. That's pick and choose. So many modern people, even on the conservative right, and I'm sorry I'm going after the conservative right so much on this. It's easy peasy lemon squeezy to go after the left, but we got to clean house. We have to clean house. We cannot continue down this road. We've seen what happens. This is a logical consequence of the decisions, the values, the policies that we have embraced more than my entire lifetime. It goes back quite a ways. And they're coming after us. For example, yesterday, Milo just had a knock at the door. I won't be going to D.C. Whatever operation they've got running to F with patriots, it's massive, and they aren't playing around. Take care, everyone. He gave some strong advice. My strong advice to everyone going to D.C., attend the rallies in the daytime and then get out of the streets. If the left wants to trash their town, let them. Don't be seen out there at night. Let America see them running wild. The reason why you're going to end up having what we've already begun to see. And I'll show you here. First of all, police arrest Proud Boys leader. Conservatives rethink their support of police. It's totally true. I've been warning people. I've been warning people, you have to hold a nuanced position on this. You have to recognize the necessity of the sword. You do the same thing with the state. You do the same thing with the church. You say, man, I'm against the abuses. I'm against the craziness of things. But at the same time, the legitimacy of the institution, an organic institution, an essential one, so essential that God gave it a symbol, iconically, symbolically, a symbol that represents their function. The family with the rod, the state with the sword, the church with the keys.
Because you don't want to.
But this right here, here's an example. Are you ready for this? Are you actually ready for this? Are you ready for these confrontations? You may not do them, but you will see them. Are you ready? Ask yourself here.
Because you don't want to fucking protect the Constitution. So you lost both sides of support.
I'm sorry for the F-bomb.
We ain't got your back. We're the business owners. We're the veterans. We're the veterans. We're the business owners. We ain't your back. But we ain't got your back no more. We don't got your back no more. Because you don't got our back.
Heads are gonna roll. Those heads are gonna roll.
So we had your back
Heads
until
are
you
gonna
didn't
roll.
have ours. And so now you don't have ours. So now I'm a Marine. I know we got other Marines out here. We ain't got your back no more.
Yeah. Fuck you, 6
You better have our back, and you better have our back, or we're gonna fucking show you.
Think about it. By the way, think about the intensity of that. Think about what place inside that was coming from. It's a complete betrayal. And why do they feel betrayed? Or, do you think that the conservative right after this, do you think that the conservative right is going to look at these individuals and buy the line that we've been told for years and years and years? It's just a few bad apples. It's just a few bad apples, man. The FBI is totally dope. They really love America. Lots of patriotic people. Oh, the CIA. Oh, CIA is totally in love with America. Very patriotic. No. In fact, I would say a few good apples. And now we're seeing as BLM has swept through this country, how many police forces have you seen that laid on the ground with their hands behind their back screaming, "I can't breathe"? It's a freaking cult, man. It's a cult. They've given obeisance to this. They've embraced it. How many of them are completely brainwashed? And adding to the idea of so many of them being brainwashed, what makes it even worse is the idea that what is otherwise a good thing, which is obedience to hierarchy and authority, when the authority and the hierarchy ends up being completely tainted, what ends up happening? What ends up happening? Well, you're going to obey the orders of the hierarchy and the authority. So an otherwise good tool of dominion and restoration in this world, a good thing, can in fact be turned into something brutally wicked. It's like a terrible bacteria. It's like an infection. Spreads through. And it's because we see stuff like this.
No, why is she bleeding? Who hit you?
That girl punched me.
Who hit you?
The black girl.
Move to the side. Move to the side.
What?
Pepper straight.
Yes. A copper.
Stand up. Can't let this happen. Come on,
What?
patience, where you at?
Who hit you? BLM?
Yes.
BLM hit you?
Yes.
And they did nothing or what?
Oh, of course they did nothing.
Oh my God.
They protected her.
Wow. Wow. What happened?
They protected her. And in fact, it shows it at the end. I'm sorry that I cut it off because I can't actually go back to that now. I can't go back to that now. But we're going to see more and more and more of this. Here's another one. Are you ready for this? So here we've got it. So here we've got it. People are burning a BLM flag.
Fuck you. Fuck Antifa. Fuck Antifa. Fuck Antifa.
But wait for it.
Fuck Antifa. Fuck Antifa.
And again, sorry for the words. You got it. Are you ready for that? But watch.
They don't like that we're burning the black. Oh my gosh.
That guy shoved me.
Somebody shame those
That police officer shoved me. Whoa, this is a freedom of speech exercise. It's a freedom of speech. It's a freedom of speech.
Oh. Now you guys can't.
I know who you used to deal with.
I'm from New York.
Move back. Hey.
Think about it. If you burn an American flag, it's perfectly fine. If you burn an LGBT flag, that's a hate crime. If you burn a Black Lives Matter flag, that is a hate crime. Think about that. And move beyond the mere fact that it's hypocrisy. Move beyond that, okay? Move beyond that. Because we have to realize that it's more than just hypocrisy. It is an evidence, in fact. It's a fruit of an existing structure of power. It is an evidence of this. There has been a great changing of the guard. That great changing of the guard has already occurred. We are seeing it now. In that sense, and you could see that where people started saying phrases like, conservative is the new counterculture. Being traditional is the new counterculture. Being religious is the new counterculture. There is something profound about that statement, and even more profound about the reality of that statement. Because for that to be true would mean that on a cultural level, and people need to appreciate the profundity of this, the gravity of the situation, when you can look at that and say it's true, because the enemies at the gates, the barbarians and the savages, have taken over. Their worldview has taken over. We are not in charge anymore. And by in charge, I'm not talking the at the levers here. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking at a cultural level. At a cultural level, there has been a mega shift. And we cannot pretend that we are. I said it before. What's another one? Here's another example of how the mega shift can be seen in full force. The mobs with cancel culture. I've said before, in the past, growing up in the 70s, 80s, 90s, even early 2000s, if you made a mistake, let's say you did something real bad, let's say you messed up, man, you did something, you were real rude, whatever. You had an idea that was, on the fringe or whatever. People would debate that. They'd have certain phrases to shame you. What do they think do they think that when they call you, well, it's like Uncle Bob at the Thanksgiving dinner talking about his conspiracies? That's a form of social shaming, by the way. But so you would have social shaming. You would have this idea that it was a free for all. There'd be consequences for things that were done. And yet at the same time, in our culture at large, Christianity, we may have been running on fumes, which we were. We may have been running on fumes, and you could see that with the hyper acceleration of denominationalism and schism, church splits left and right, groups that had no even without a denominational affiliation. So avoiding even the conversation about holy orders, or stuff like that, saying that even the idea that you no longer even had to have a denomination, you just made up your own church. And then that church is big and you're a legitimate pastor. And people would disagree over small things. I don't like the way the carpet is, and so I'm out of here. When you see the hyper acceleration of that, that's another evidence. But when it comes down to the fumes that we were running on, those fumes still gave us the intellectual and moral framework where if somebody made a mistake, we could still make sense of the phrase, you don't kick a man when he's down. You don't kick a person when they're down, that you got to help them get back up, that they can, repent and be forgiven. Even down to talking about forgive and forget. Like, look, you still have penance to do, right? You still have something to do in this world. It's like you have to show that you're trustworthy or that you're not a scumbag anymore. But the idea was that you could redeem yourself. And the reason you could redeem yourself is because you, in fact, were not redeeming yourself. God was redeeming you. Redemption was working through you. And we were there to reconcile. We were there to forgive because we had that core. We had that shared space, to use the phraseology that they use. We had a shared space and an atmosphere that was one of recognizing that we are sinful, recognizing that we had a standard, okay, that we had a standard, even if it was just boiled down at the end to a very, very fuzzy interpretation of 10 Commandments. Even if that was the case, we still had that, and it was a monumental thing. You got to get rid of it, though, right? They had to get rid of it. So we couldn't even have that anymore. And so the standard was gone. The space was gone. The environment and the atmosphere of recognizing that we're sinful, recognizing that we need a savior, recognizing that we can repent, and that we have a responsibility, not just to forgive, if they've truly repented, to forgive, but to work in helping that person become better. And now that is gone. It's been gone, in fact, for a while. And we see that with the domination of annihilation known as cancel culture. There's no more of that shared value, that shared sense of social norms. So it's not just that they're not Christian, it's that we don't have them anymore. And now it's just all about just groups of power. It's yet another example. But now you have people like Tim Young again. If you're at harass politicians we disagree with in public, then you're no different than Maxine Waters and the trash Democrats who have encouraged the same. Now, that sounds almost a little bit appealing. Like, well, yeah, you don't want to harass them and stuff like that. But that's under this weird, funky, fake idea that says, oh, all you got to do is have the right idea and go and talk to them, and it will all work out. No, it won't. You're thinking that your antiquated idea fits the model of the spirit of the age that we are currently enduring. It's fake, dude. Your rationalism sucks. It's not even how it works. It hasn't worked that way in a long time. I knew this because I'd worked as chief aide to a lobbyist in New Jersey. I saw past that stuff back in 2004? That was fairy tale land right there. That's fairy tale land. And if he doesn't understand that there are times where if the internal political structure ends up resulting where the politician, right, the statesman, if politics is unified, then you're not going to have the kind of internal division that results in two different political units of such power and internal sovereignty in directing what they want, in directing their constituency, and in their access and ability to not only determine you're an enemy, but more than that, to say we have the ability, we have access to tools of war. And not just a culture war, we're talking full-blown war. We're there now. We are there now. And in fact, we on the right are the resistance. We're the resistance. We don't even have the same access to those. And people say, well, we have Trump. And you say, yeah, Trump, did he have access, by the way? Did he have access? Do you believe that? With the DOJ, you believe that? With all the stuff that we were promised was going to be, shown to everybody? Even the JFK stuff. It's just crazy. And I don't believe in these fairy tales. And so I sit there and say, and plus, there's a logical fallacy floating around in there. It's kind of like, well, if you apply that standard and say, just because somebody does something that we may say, well, that's not nice, doesn't mean that at some point in the cultural cycle that it may in fact be necessary. And we're just simply late to the game. And what are you going to do? You're going to call your senator? Is that what you're going to do? Are you going to call? Are you going to make sure to get out the vote? You're going to make sure to go door to door? Is that what's going to do it? Huh? Have you not been doing that your whole life? Have you not been doing that? And are you the kind of person that says, I know that it's gone consistently in one direction over and over and over and over and over my entire life, but you got to keep on doing the same thing and expect a different result. And I say, you're cuckoo. You are a cuckoo person. You have to be able to recognize this. This is about tactic, by the way. This is a debate over means and ends. And Tim Young, he's going back and saying, well, I'm not understanding the circumstance or the nature of our particular predicament, but I believe that the tools that have failed us for all these years, if we keep doing it, it's going to work. Garbage, bro. Because here we are. We're at places like seaman is now seafarers. Mother and father is now parent. Aunt and uncle is now parent's sibling. Niece and nephew, siblings, child. It's going to get to the place where we're saying in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost is going to turn into the mother joy situation in the name of the parent and of the child and of the magical presence, woman. Weirdos, dude. Weirdos. Beware of the weirdos. It's coming. They're already here. The lunatics are in the grass, man. The lunatics are in the grass. And they've been all around us, and we've been unafraid, or we've been afraid to do certain things that say we need to make public statements that say that if you have that belief, that you're not just wrong, but in fact you are an enemy. You're an enemy. You don't mind the destruction of the West. In fact, you crave it. You dream about it. You desire it. And you go out and you try to make sure that from cradle to grave, that everybody is just bombarded with those demonic, deconstructive ideas and values. You are an enemy. Because the truth is, and there's maybe people can get into a debate and say, well, aren't you supposed to love your enemy? And I say, I think that we need to stop using the Americanized English use of the word and the understanding, the social imagination that we have from that word in modern usage, and try to better understand how enemy was used, even in the Bible and in biblical times. Was it one of them? Was it argon? What's the phrase for it? I don't remember offhand. But we need to be able to recognize. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to have hate in your heart. But it does mean that you have to recognize the situation. It's like the debate I had with my buddy. I love him to death, right? We co-host Paleo Cheese together. I love him to death. But we disagree, man, on what to do if somebody busts into your home in the middle of the night. I say, you pop the guy. You don't play footsies with somebody who's brash enough to break into your home with your kids there and your wife there. You don't know. And he's like, well, but what if they're, just a kid down on their luck or whatever? You're not going to do anything bad. And I'm like, yes, I would. That's a bummer. Okay. That is a bummer. However, what if I assume that and end up getting ravaged and my wife gets raped and my kids get killed? And all the while people say, why didn't you shoot the guy? And I'm like, because I thought maybe he was a guy down on his luck. It's the same thing with the people on the other side of the aisle who hate everything we stand for. They hate it. They don't just dislike it. They hate it. They think of us and what we believe with our faith and our values, our traditions and customs and courtesies, our heroes from the past, everything that's made us what we are, everything that's made us great. If you could take the inverse of that and say that what we view as angelic, they view as demonic. What we view as good, they view as evil. What we say is right, they say is wrong. And not a little, but at this point, in this point of this cycle, in the way that this thing works, it's gotten to the point where it's absolute. And it's only acceptable to the degree at which you apostatize, to the degree at which you're willing to condemn the founders, the degree that you are willing to completely apostatize from traditional notions of truth, of righteousness, of gender, of marriage. Sin is a sickness. And these people got it bad. I'm going to drop the rest of this here. I'm going to drop the rest of this. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read this. Because I read this, and this we're going to end. I want to thank you guys for all joining. And remember, check out the cups, okay? You can do that, paleocratdiaries.com. And share this video. It's the only way, we're not out there. We're not doing ads and promotionals. We're not doing all that stuff. We network in real time. We talk to people. We connect the best we can. We share it the best we can. And rely very heavily, in fact, on just organic growth to this show. So we appreciate all of you. How would you pronounce this? Hold on a second. Yeah, Jair. Okay, the second coming. The second coming. And give me 1 second here. I got to look something up. Pronunciation for something. I want to see this here. This thing should be pronounced as rhyme with weights. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. So, the second coming. Okay, this is by W.B. Yeats. Turning and turning. I want you to think about this, okay? I want you to think about this. And this was shared, I believe Milo shared this over on Telegram. It's fantastic. I want you to think about what this means for us, what this means at this time. It's profound, in fact. The second coming. Turning and turning in the widening gyre. Okay, I'll start over. I see that. I always want to think Euro. The gyre. The second coming, okay? Turning and turning in the widening gyre. The falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart. The center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dimmed tide is loosed, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drowned. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. Surely some revelation is at hand. Surely the second coming is at hand. The second coming! Hardly are those words out when a vast image out of Spiritus Mundi troubles my sight. A waste of desert sand. A shape with lion body and the head of a man. A gaze blank and pitiless as the sun is moving its slow thighs, while all about it wind shadows of the indignant desert binds. The darkness drops again, but now I know that 20 centuries of stony sleep were vexed to nightmare by a rocking cradle, and what rough beast, its hour come round at last, slouches toward Bethlehem to be born. W.B. Yeats. I shared this because we can look at all of the things that are around us, and we can get extraordinarily disheartened. And I'm not sharing things that are making anybody's day like lollipops and lemon drops, okay? I'm not the candy, cotton candy Jesus in the sky guy. That's not what I am. I think we need to take a serious, hard look at the world around us and to know just how bad it is, because unless we do, number one, we won't know the degree by which our culture and civilization are sick, or to the extent that the enemies have already taken domination over us and our values and our people. At the same time, it's not just that, because that gives us an idea for what we can do, what must be done, not what ought. We're beyond this now. We need to ask what must be done. We can get in the debate all day long about abstractions. We're at the place of action. We're at the place where we have to begin to actualize what Donald Trump used to talk about. All talk, no action. All talk, no action. We need to actualize the antithesis. We need to become action. We need to put these things in place. At the same time, it's not just to know what we need to do, but to witness how things have happened in salvation history, throughout the history of mankind, and to believe deep in our hearts that God shall reign supreme. We can see, when we see how sick somebody is, when we see how deadly all of the things are around us, the violence, okay, the venom, all around us, oftentimes getting sunken in the fangs, and it starts to take over even ourselves. We start to realize just how sick we are, that the infection is spread. And then we sit there and say, but Jesus rose from the dead. Jesus rose from the dead. He has all power, all authority right now. He is the Savior of the world. It's not Donald Trump. It's not senators in Georgia. It's not founding fathers. It's none of them. They are all tools of God's dominion in time and space. They are all tools that can be used to degrees for the restoration of all things in Christ. But the truth is, so can you. So can I. Because God's called us for such a time as this. And we're all slouching toward Bethlehem. Not toward Gomorrah. We're done with that. We're slouching toward Bethlehem. And I believe that we will see a victory where truth and righteousness in Christ Jesus is reborn. All right, everybody. I'm really grateful, by the way. I'm really grateful for each and every one of you. Super dupe grateful. Oh, hold on real quick before we go. I feel badly about this because I was really just, I was really into it. So hold on a second. We got to do this here. Restream. There we go. I'll go ahead and make it smaller. Boop. There we are. Well, hello. Yeah, how are you? So, okay, let me get this a little bit smaller. I'll do only some of the comments. I don't want to go into them forever because, I'm already a couple hours into this, and so I don't want to play that game here. Okay. Let me see here. Let's see. Going up a little bit. I don't want to go too far up here. Okay. Mother Mary, pray for my family, friend, and all over the world. Amen. Yes. People talking about soy is bad for men. It isn't good for testosterone levels. I would believe this. Right. I generally stay away. And plus, I mean, it makes for terrible selfies. And I mean it, man. Like I went back and looked at some of my pictures, and I used to do that kind of face, like, oh my gosh, kind of thing, like, and did that. And when I went back and looked and I saw myself doing that, I'm like, for one, that's just not very attractive. Number two, I was definitely eating soy at that time. And I don't think I've done any pictures with that face ever since. Ever since. It was the soy, man. It was the soy. Oh, boy. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, one of them says that it's making it sick to watch the way that patriots were being treated in Washington, D.C. Zach says the way to fix the Republican Party is to throw out anyone who won't support the rule of law. A nation has borders. A society has laws. Without these, you don't have anything. And I agree with you, man. I think that any healthy organism ever is united. Any healthy organism. It's like the Republicans have taken the idea with the party system. That it's taken the idea that, diversity is great. That's what it is. And we're just diverse. But all the while, the people at the helm in the diverse realm are the same people, right? The uniparty that's part of the diversifiable world on the Democratic side. And so, you just got to kind of look at it that way. But more than that, any healthy organism at all, ever, has strong in-group and out-group rules. Okay? So in-group, out-group rules. That's a long-lasting, healthy, vibrant organism on the ascent, okay? We aren't there right now. And it gets to a place where it gets so bad that it really does require, maybe I'll talk about it another time, because I was reading a book that was describing various times where different nations with, kings and, all different political schemes where they made resolutions or decrees that had to do with where the organism was getting so divided and so parasitic. I mean, it was really bad, super sick. Everything's falling apart. And they resolved and said, look, you're submitting or you're out. Just the way that goes, because you have to at some point clean house. It's like the idea, Father Ronald Knox talks about how the church over the years has become looser and looser in its effort to be merciful and gracious and to advance that cause. But that at some point, there would need to be a tightening of the belt. And I think that for the GOP, the tightening of the belt needs to be so strong and so hard that those who've gotten fat on the hog of the uniparty, it might be so much tension that their eyeballs will pop out. Okay, we need to do that. All right, let's see here. If term limits were enforced, shady, self-serving career politicians would be less likely to run. I'm divided over term limits, man. I'm divided over term limits because I don't put a lot of stock into the democratic dynamic of the republic. And so, and the whole notion of representation and what campaigning has turned into, how much of the seasons it turns into, and what representatives and people running for office, what they are willing to say and do in order to get that power and retain that power. And it's no surprise, by the way, that it's so connected with money. Although, again, it's not to say there's not a benefit to term limits. There would be. There would also be big bummers, man. There would be big bummers with certain people. And so let's see here. Let's see. Revolution is on the horizon. David Herster says that. I agree with that. I think that in fact, today, it'll be interesting to see how events unfold, beginning today and working their way through the next month or so. I've talked about this for quite a while, and it will eventually reach a breaking point. And history is our guide. The fact is you're either going to have a revolution, which would involve blood, or you are going to have a great awakening. And even if there is a great awakening, it does not assure, number one, that it would last long, that it would ultimately fix the problem, or that there wouldn't also be a war at the same time, and that it just wouldn't be the religious that would have the great awakening that would embolden them to, in fact, face their enemies and be willing to call somebody an enemy who, in fact, is an enemy. Let's see here. being Christian was always counterculture, just as Jesus. Yes, but no. We'll talk about that another time. But I don't really believe that. It was counterculture in his time. There's no doubt about it, because he said he was the Messiah. So that was counterculture. It was counterculture at the time of the Romans, but you couldn't say that it was counterculture, for example, during the time of the Inquisitions. I mean, that would not be, because it was the primary informant of culture. It was the primary factor in determining the dynamics of culture. And so Christendom, if you were a Christian in Christendom, that wasn't very counterculture. And I'm not even saying that being counterculture is necessarily a good thing. That is based on the circumstance. If your culture is one of death and pedophilia and Satanism, then yeah, man, be counterculture, bro. If your culture is based on trying to establish and to maximize beauty and truth and things like that, goodness and righteousness. If that's the case, then don't be counterculture. Then let's see. Congress is currently counting the Electoral College votes. Okay. Oh, they are. Yeah, Zach, the FBI are not doing their job. The FBI can find informants and send undercover agents into the mob, but they can't do anything against BLM and Antifa. The FBI just doesn't want to. DOJ is corrupt too. Another comment. You're so spot on, Jeremiah. So spot on. I appreciate that. Let's see. Cherie says, because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. Emily Dickinson. I like that particular poem. But this might be an unpopular opinion, and maybe with the ladies, I don't know. Emily Dickinson was a little weird. Yeah, that's fine, But I just don't know about the whole poetry thing. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know. But there are certain poems that I like a lot from her, especially that one. And so, yes, very, very, very good. CF says, Arizona objection being debated. This will take forever. Another comment. Grateful for you too. Yes. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. James, can we close with a prayer with a woman? Oh man. For the whole debate, right? And so, no, I will encourage you to do this though. I don't know. Are you being serious? Are you asking me to close this show with a prayer? Is that what you're asking, man? Because I don't start the show with a prayer. I pray before the show, but I don't pray normally for this. I think that what I think we can do, I'd like to get together with people, maybe do a different video where we talk specifically about things to do, not just why we should do them, but actual tools of dominion, tools of restoration of all things in Christ, and emphasize that. But yeah, and not without woman, dude. We're not doing that, man. We are not doing that. And the truth is, it's one of those things where it's like you try to make your whole life a prayer, and it's, a lot of the things that I would pray for and pray about, the cry from my heart, in fact, throughout this entire show has been, in a way, a prayer for me. That, in fact, it would be a little bit redundant saying that we have it. And so I think that there's a dynamic of that. But anyway, I appreciate it. We'll do a prayer sometime though. In fact, maybe we'll do an entire episode talking about prayer and praying together. And I'm still wanting to make a video that is going to be the rosary done by my entire family. So each one of us, because there would be 5 of us for the decades of the rosary, each one would do a decade, right? And then we would do the common prayers together and stuff like that, and post that so that people can learn how to do that, not only in English but also in Latin, because my family would know how to do that. And so we're kind of excited about it, and I'll be sharing those videos. You can find that over at paleocratdiaries.com. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this thing off now. Let's see, window capture. Window capture. All right, everybody. Oh, there's 2. All right, everybody. Super grateful for all of you. I'm grateful that you kept tuned in. I'm grateful that you love the show. I'm grateful that you share it with your friends, that you share it with your family, that you share it with your classmates and coworkers. I am extraordinarily grateful for all of you. And I encourage you to reach out to us, right? We always love talking with everybody. We like to get to know you and for you to get to know us. Like I started the show saying, I really had a great time talking with a new friend, in fact, on the phone, and hoping that we can become even closer over the days and weeks and months and years to come. And because we're in this together, okay? We're in this as a wolf pack. And so if you would like to connect with us, you'd like to connect with the show, it's easy. Paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. Again, that is Paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. And of course, you can go to Paleocratdiaries.com and it will have all that information. It even has a little box on the side that says like, let's talk or something like that. If you click on that, it's a chat talk. It's like a chat box, right? Instant message. And that goes straight to my phone. So I'll be able to get that. It'll go straight to my phone. It's a little annoying a little bit, but I'm always happy. I'm always happy to get messages from people that way and to connect with them, especially individuals not only who love the show, but may in particular be at a place where they're worried about what's going on, not only outside of them, but inside of their heart, and maybe they'd fallen away from the Lord. Many people have reached out to me about this and talked to me about it. Some of them amazing praise reports, by the way. And maybe one day I'll invite some of them on to talk about even the influence that this show has had on their return to the faith. And it's one of those things that is central to the show because I wouldn't be here if that hadn't happened to me. And so I'm really grateful for all that. All righty, here we go. I love you guys. I love you guys. Now I got to be quiet. Now I got to stop, man. But as I said, if you want to learn more, PaleocratDiaries.com. If you'd like to do interviews, have me on your show, you want to be on my show, if you'd like me to come do speeches or anything else, PaleocratDiaries@gmail.com. Check out my work over at Paleo Cheese Podcast. It's always a blast. Tons of fun. We just had an episode uploaded on Sunday, and we also had an episode uploaded the Friday before. It was a live show. First live show. Also, go to Meaning of Catholic and Holy Faith Media and all the different shows that are on Holy Faith Media. You can find them on YouTube, on Facebook, you name it. We're grateful for each and every one of you. You help to make my day amazing. Okay? And remember that go check out the mugs. You got to do it. You got to check out the mugs. You can find that link. You can find the links to the account there by going to PaleocratDiaries.com. And until next time, as we always do when we salute you, we say, never give up, keep on smiling, and memento mori. If I don't talk into microphones, I don't make that mad cash. Making all that money. Making that mad loot, right?
Mind control.
So we see the minority elite imposing their ideology on an unwilling and resentful populace. This causes a backlash. People get ticked off.
The left is working long and hard to make us feel as if we've done something wrong. Worse yet, that we are the problem. Don't let people just rip on your heritage. Don't let people just rip on your traditions. Don't let people rip on your heroes. Stand up for what you believe, what made you who you are. So unless this disenfranchised majority begins standing up for what they believe in their heart of hearts to be true, I think we'd be left with nothing more than a dirge, and maybe a funeral procession.